everybody, Son Goshuaku here, and welcome to our audio review of WWE WrestleMania 35, in the aftermaths of what happened on Raw and SmackDown. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button followed by hitting the notification bell so that way you are notified as soon as my content is released. And joining me, please welcome back, he was part of our WrestleMania 34 review last year, coming to you from TooSweetCosplay's. Welcome back, Stvo.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you doing this evening?
And giving us the live perspective for WrestleMania 35, he's coming fresh off of his 20th WrestleMania that he has attended live in his lifetime so far. Please welcome back the man, 0001.
Hello, friends.
Alright, so gentlemen, here we are. You guys, as you go about your everyday life, we're going to go ahead and break down, give you something to listen to. WrestleMania 35 is in the books, thus completing all the WrestleManias of the 20-teens decade. So this was a long show, like 8 hours. Let's get started here with the pre-show. First match, Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese versus Buddy Murphy. I do not watch 205. I don't really keep up with it. I barely have time to keep up with Raw and SmackDown. It's mostly just background noise while I do other stuff. But that said, I know these guys are always tearing it up, and this match was no exception. Both guys went in there, looked great, teared the house down, I thought. You know, they're really trying, but unfortunately the company just will not get behind them. But I always respect the efforts that these cruiserweights put in to not let that, you know, to not let that basically hold them back. They still go out there and work as if WWE will hopefully one day view them on a higher platform, and I hope it does eventually happen. But that said, it was a good standard match of cruiserweight, tons of cruiserweight action, and in the end, Tony Nese picks up the victory, which I assume was probably going to happen because I heard that Buddy Murphy had been champion since going back to what was it, the Australia show. Yep, and that being said, I thought it was a nice little opener. It looked like the crowd was full, so I guess they made good work of getting everybody in there. So Steve-O, over to you. Anything you'd like to add about this match?
Honestly, not a whole lot. It was a great match. It was a good match, you know, good opener. It is a shame the cruiserweights aren't viewed in a higher regard, but I mean, they don't really put a lot of emphasis on it unless you watch 205 Live, which I don't on a regular basis at all. You know, I mean, they do put on good matches, but just, you know, they don't really make us want to care for it. So all I'm going to say beyond this is just I was a little surprised. I was predicting Buddy Murphy just because I didn't really know if they had any plans for Tony Nese, but congrats to him either way. So good match. That's really all I can say.
For sure. All right, for the live perspective, man 0001, did the stadium look pretty full during this match? And anything you like to add about it?
Yeah, the stadium was filling up. Definitely, it was still filling up during that time, but it was still filled up. But it was full, like about 60 to 70% of the stadium was filled up by that point in time. People were still filing in. I watched the match. I enjoyed it. You know, I don't know if you saw it on the home version of it or the WWE Network or pay-per-view version of it, but, you know, Buddy Murphy, he got cut open a little bit on his eye. Yeah, he did. And also, you know, and also people don't understand about 205 Live is this. I like the kind of role reversals they have with Buddy Murphy. On pay-per-view, they make him look like he's a gent, and he's and he's a great guy and everything. But on 205 Live, he's on there murdering cats, tripping old ladies as they walk across the street.
Wow.
Snatching purses, stealing wallets, doing all of the most dastardly things you can think of.
Sounds like some good heel work.
But then when he's on pay-per-view, they make him look like he's a shining star, not Primo and Primo and you know, an Epico, you know, cologne, not the colognes, but they make him look like he's a champion for the Be a Star campaign, but on pay-per-view, but when he's on 205 Live, oh brother, he's quite the opposite. Let's see. On a side note, but yeah, I really enjoyed the match, and it's kind of cool how they kept the Murphy's Law finisher over by having Tony Nese put his foot on the bottom rope, rather than kick out. That really keeps the move over as a devastating move, while while being able to further and advance the match. That right there's a little side note, a little subtle you guys saw, and yeah. And also another little side note: Tony Leese looks like Hans Gruber from Die Hard, with his beard and his hair like that. It looks like he's about to take over the Nakatomi Plaza. Well, let's carry it along, please.
All right. Well, so the next one we had up was the, which I wish, like X-Pac said the night before, make it the China Memorial Battle Royal, or as Solid Monster always says, the Sensational Invitational, as tribute to Sensational Sherry. But it's just the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. So for those of you who don't know, I am part of the No DQ Predictions League, and for my predictions, my secondary pick was Asuka, my number one being Dana Brooke, because going into this I'm thinking like, all right, expect the unexpected like they had with Naomi last year. So this match here, I mean, standard stuff. I'm not going to go through it detail by detail. I did think the Riot Squad had some pretty cool tag team moves. There was one particular where I forget who it was, but I think Liv Morgan like ran up Sarah Logan or whatever and did a backflip or something like that. It was a pretty cool move. But yeah, the Riot, I like that the tag teams all work together. I can't stand battle royals where the teams like knock down everybody and then they go head to head, and I'm like, yeah, no, work all the way to the very end. So I did like that. And in the end, it was Sarah Logan that got a really huge showing at the end of the match, and of course Asuka gets eliminated, but Carmella comes out of nowhere because she went through the ropes, not over it, and just picks up the big win over it was Sarah Logan. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't think there was any build up at all for Carmella getting built up to this, but let's face it, this match is just there to make sure that all the women get on the card. It is sad to see. Me and the Man Triple 01 2 years ago were there when Asuka and Ember Moon were finishing up their runs in NXT, and we were hoping promising and situations for them both, and 2 years here they are, not even on the main show, and it's just a complete utter crap what they've done with Asuka and what they pulled before WrestleMania. So I mean, just yeah, it's one thing that will make me not get excited anymore for certain things, but I won't harper on this too long. It is what it is. It was mostly just there, but I'm glad all the women did get their time and their big WrestleMania payout. Steve, anything like that about this?
Yeah, pretty much what you're saying. I mean, it was, just filler, basically. I mean, yeah, it was cool that the teams did team up. I was hoping that Sarah Logan was going to win. I was like, all right, they could try to build someone new. Sonya Deville is someone who I'd like to see get a push in the future. I've been a fan of her since her NXT days, but, I mean, she made it close to the end, but, I mean, I guess she didn't quite make the mark. I thought it was a little lazy booking there, doing the same repeat finish from last year's. I was at WrestleMania, like the Man was as well. But yeah, just the fact, they have someone thinking they won. Like that happened with Naomi last year. I'm trying to remember who she eliminated, but she did the same exact thing. And this time it was Carmella doing it to Sarah Logan. So, I mean, yay for Carmella, I guess. But, I mean, that's really it. I just thought, okay, a little, I mean, it's good everyone got their payday. I wish they could do some kind of ultimatum where we don't have to see 2 battle royals on one show, especially since we have it for Royal Rumble in January, and then they do 2 battle royals in WrestleMania now. So something needs to be done.
Yeah, I got you there, and also, yeah, I noticed the crowd. There were some people in the crowd getting over for Dana Brooke, so that was cool. But yeah, anything you want to add about this before we move on, man? 0001.
That's right here. It's the OSP kind of match. Only seeing paychecks. Yep. Yep. That's all I can see right here. Everybody got paid, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
Like I have to slightly disagree there. I actually like seeing the battle royals. It gives everyone something to do. It also gives them an opportunity to get to get themselves out there. So so that they might be able to pull ahead within the next 12 months and really show what they're made of. Because watching the Battle Royal live. You know, it was great. You know, it was a great thing. You know, it was a good thing to see. Yeah, it was a little bit fillerish, but overall, it gives people something to do and while they're getting paid. And definitely, if you have a billion-dollar company, you know, I mean, you know, talent best be getting some of that pie, some of that billion-dollar pie. And you know, so it's just like, you know, I definitely would like to see this continue, but they do need to change the name for certain. You know, for certain. When I watched the match, there was some great in-ring psychology with having the teams work together. You know, compounded with the fact that Dana Brooke was on there, and Dana Brooke is she's slowly but surely improving. Definitely, she is.
Agree.
She is. Yeah, she is slowly but surely improving. She is stepping her game up, and in 2 years' time, I see her being a champion either on Raw or SmackDown, or you know, or she might be one half of the women's tag team champions. You know, coming up within the next couple of years. I give it 2 years' time. I don't want to jump the gun and say I want the title on her next month. No, I don't want to jump the gun on that. But yeah, you know, yeah, definitely. I had some fun watching this.
Good. Yeah, I hope so. Dana Brooke, someone, when I watched the documentary they did, I always felt she takes the business very seriously. But let's go ahead and move on to our next match, the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Zack Ryder, Curt Hawkins against the champions, the Revival. Undoubtedly one of the greatest build-ups going into this entire show. I think about like 2 days or so before the pay-per-view, 2 or 3 days pay-per-view, WWE.com announced it. Tremendous build-up. No, I'm just kidding. A thrown together match. And you know what? As great as much as I wanted to see, I would love to have seen Revival get a big win for their first big WrestleMania moment. I figured, okay, you know what? They're probably going to be unpredictable. I see Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins winning this match. I felt it was going to be similar to how like Zack Ryder would go on to win the Intercontinental title out of nowhere at WrestleMania 32. And that's pretty much what this is. They beat him, and Curt Hawkins got his moment where he ended his 260 day plus losing streak. So a nice moment for Ryder and Hawkins. I remember them 10 years ago as they were like the Edgeheads as a champion. So yeah,
they were both the Edgeheads, and they were both the Major Brothers and the Edgeheads. That's what they were.
Yep. And the thing is, the Revival, I mean, honestly, given how the Revival was booked, that's the reason why I figured Hawkins and Ryder would do this. But personally, I would prefer if Ryder, they got behind him with his own thing, and I would have preferred Hawkins had like a big major single win and to maybe use that to launch him. But they've got them together as tag teams. But hey, at least on Monday Night Raw, they actually kept the titles. And I don't know why they're getting a rematch when there's no more automatic rematch clause. There's that WWE continuity for you. So yeah, but overall, it is what it is when it comes to this match. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy that the Revival got a WrestleMania match. They at least got to be on WrestleMania, and Hawkins and Ryder got a big moment. So yeah, that seems to be the running theme with the pre-show is paydays, and hey, we're happy that they got their moment. Steve, what do you think you want to add about this tag match?
Decent match. Nothing really spectacular to say. You know, Revival always bring their A game. Hawkins and Ryder, you know, they did their thing. They usually keep the crowds entertained. You know, they're lovable jobbers and such. But at least I'm glad that Hawkins finally got his victory. The Glass Joe from Punch-Out finally got his victory. Little Punch-Out reference to you guys. But no, like with Hawkins, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it would be nice to see him get a singles victory, but it's almost like the Heath Slater storyline from 2 years ago where he was, you know, not drafted to either Raw or SmackDown, so he kept having to do all these matches to get a contract. And then he didn't get it until he and Rhino teamed up to become the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I see it a little similar to that. But yeah, I am happy that the next night on Raw, they retained the titles. I was almost afraid they were going to do a repeat scenario of Zack Ryder a few years back at WrestleMania 32, losing the IC title immediately the night after he won it. So that's good to see that they're going to be tag champs at least for one more week at the minimum. Yeah, I mean, I do feel a little bad for the Revival. They're a very great team. NXT, they'd always blow the roof off the house. Even at Fastlane last month, they put on one hell of a tag team match. So I hope I hope there's something else in the plans for them in WWE. But if not, I think it's a year they have. They can always go over to AEW and maybe make a difference there.
Yeah, I mean, it probably might get treated better there. Man, 0001, any thoughts you got on from the live perspective of this?
Left hook Larry, Dash Wilder. Oh boy, that man needs a bonus. That's what he needs.
Yeah, I saw he got the final shot in on that jerk that tagged Bret Hart. Yeah.
He gave him a good Hall of Fame induction ceremony souvenir gift. You know, Mark Henry was proud. He inducted that good boy into the Hall of Fame. Mark Henry looked on proudly. Yeah, but let's get down to the match, though. The match was a fine match. I liked it. I liked this match. It was a good, serviceable match for the event, and I got to see it. And these two actually put on a pretty competitive match, really compelling match. To see Curt Hawkins finally get his win, finally get a win at WrestleMania is a really good thing. Because you have to understand, these two guys are guys who came up through wrestling school together. Guys are real life best friends, and both of these guys are from the New York area. Because you'll see this is a little bit of a running thing in a free show at least. Is you have Tony Nese, he's from I believe he's from New York. You have you have Carmella, she's from New York.
Yep.
I believe so. And then
Carmella, somebody was telling me that she's technically from Boston, but they hype her from being New York.
Yeah.
But
kayfabe, why she's from New York.
New York.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. And then you have Riders and Hawk, and they're from New York as well. So you got all of these people from the East Coast going in there and winning. It's kind of a theme I see. So it's kind of like these people are getting some good wins in their own backyards. So it's a great thing to see. But, this is a great match. I enjoyed it, seeing them finally get those wins. And, Riders and Hawkins are the new lineal WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. I say lineal because these are the longest, these are the tag titles within the company that have the longest history, longest reign of prestige since they got rid of the World Tag Team Championships. Way back when, but yeah,
very well. And now we'll move on to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And honestly, the way they've booked this over the years and the winners, I just feel like, is this right for Andre the Giant's memory for his name to be slapped on this?
I got a question real quick.
What's up?
If you win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, do you really win anything?
You win a nice trophy that someone's going to eventually break on TV.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, that yellow trophy of Andre.
I know, but let's see. Let me say this in my Baines voice. When you win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, have you really succeeded? Are you really, truly, legitimately victorious?
Nice. But yeah, I thought Andrade, and because I like to still say it, Cien Amas, I thought he was going to win this, but no, he didn't. my secondary pick won, and that's Braun Strowman. And this was all built up with the actors from Saturday Night Live, and they got me for a second, and I'm like, are they really gonna have these two guys win it and just try to make this whole thing seem like a joke? But no, they didn't. Braun Strowman goes over. I'll compliment Braun Strowman. I thought he was looking in tremendous shape and everything. Braun Strowman looks like he's really been cut up a lot more than the last time, and everything. I think I've seen him wrestle in the ring. So props to him there. And I may have even liked the women's Battle Royal better. That's about all I got to say. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is won by Braun Strowman. Can we eventually please get Braun Strowman a nice, true, big WrestleMania moment, though? I think the guy's earned it. And that's all I got to say about that. Steve, anything you want to add about this match?
Yeah, not a whole lot, really. You know, they try to get, like, maybe some mainstream people interested with the SNL guys. I mean, I don't know too many people who still watch SNL on a regular basis, maybe a handful of people. But I don't myself. I haven't really watched since the 90s. But, yeah, I mean, with Braun Strowman, I guess this is just another pat on the back for him. I don't really... Well, are we allowed to talk about SmackDown tonight in a brief sense?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I know why you want to bring that up. Let's bring that up after the Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio match.
Okay, that's fine. But, I mean, beyond that, we won't, I don't know, beyond what happened tonight, maybe something will happen. But in short, I don't know, ever since Crown Jewel when Brock destroyed him, and I just don't see anything too big happening. I don't see him getting his Universal or WWE World Heavyweight Championship moment. Maybe a mid-card title. Maybe he'll win another tag title with Nicholas, but otherwise I don't think too much. I think he's going to basically be the dependable, funny big guy now. I don't think he's ever going to be that main eventer on the level of Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins, for that matter.
And
that's all I got to say.
That's extremely sad. But yeah, I didn't know they were going to turn this whole Nicholas thing into a running gimmick. They did a whole documentary special on him. It was pretty hilarious. Yeah. Man, Triple before we kick off into the main show, anything you want to add about this Battle Royal?
Man, oh man, this right here, this show, this right here just looked like one big advert for Saturday Night Live. I mean, like, occasionally I'll pop in and out and watch Saturday Night Live to see what's going on because, you know, going back to the 90s, when I was a kid, me, my brother, and my mom, and my little sisters, well, we definitely gather around the TV and watch Saturday Night Live. But, you know, in Mad TV, you know, Saturday Night Wars. But I'd watch both of those. But watching this show right here, watching this this match right here, having Colin Jost and let's see, and Che, whatever. I don't know his last name. I'm sorry. That's if he's listening. You know, let's see. No, I'm just gonna call him Che. While Colin and Che go out there and just you know, it's just like, why are they even here? I mean, there's so much you can use these guys commentate the match. You know, to do commentary for the match. You can use these guys and so much better. It's so much better than having them in the freaking match itself, because you just had these two spots be stolen from two other people. I don't know, some eventual potential NXT call-ups. You know, Velveteen Dream and my guy Matt Riddle. They could have used that spot. You know, they could have used them two spots, and they could have had the nail guys instead. Just be on the sideline commentary. You know what I mean? Just show off how much of a casual fans that they really are of it. You know, if they're fans of the show, you know, show off how much casual fans they are. Do some comedy bits, and let's get the hell on with the show, as opposed to you know, having them go out there and doing this. This right here is terrible booking. Bad storytelling, but at least Braun Strowman gets somewhat of a WrestleMania moment here. You know, he definitely deserves one for sure. You know, because he's been through a lot of shit over the last couple of years. You know, but I have a feeling that when he eventually does get his first singles title, it is going to be so much sweet because in life, as you will see later on in the show, uh, best things are worth waiting for.
For sure. Well, hey, we've gone on 24 minutes roughly about the pre-show, so let's move on to the main show. Of course, we had Alexa Bliss introduce Hulk Hogan, so Hulk Hogan came back and he botched the name. He purposely botched to create another botch. If anybody called that. He tried to say the Silver Dome, but then he called it MetLife Center or something like that. Well, maybe next time, Hulkster. Maybe next time.
Let's see. Hulk Hogan ruining WrestleMania for me ever since 1993.
That was his first WrestleMania. That was his first memories of professional wrestling. But anyways, we start off with the first match, which I was shocked that it was going to be the curtain jerker for this. But you had Paul Heyman come out and announce it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship. And early on, I mean, it sounded like the crowd was hot for this with the burn it down. And Seth Rollins immediately getting attacked by Brock Lesnar, which I kind of thought was funny. This is just a plot device to make sure the match still stayed short. And, he just beat the crap out of Seth Rollins and did the F5 on the outside. And, of course, when the match begins, and I forgot if the referee is distracted or not, or however it allowed it, they go to Seth Rollins doing a low blow on Brock Lesnar. Then he proceeds to hit 3 curb stomps. 1, 2, 3. Holy crap, what just happened? Seth Rollins is a Universal Champion, because I'm like, there's no way WWE's gonna give us 3 happy endings. And I was telling everyone, I'm like, Seth Rollins, he's gonna get the short end of the stick here. So this got me concerned, like, oh man, I don't know if Kofi or Becky, who they're gonna choose then. But with that being said, I mean, it's a hot way to start things off. Seth Rollins, Universal Champion. I preferably would have wanted Brock Lesnar to lose clean. I mean, since Brock Lesnar defeated Undertaker at WrestleMania 30, the only person to get a clean victory over him has been Goldberg. And I'm like, I don't know why they just seem so afraid. They wouldn't even let Roman get a clean victory at SummerSlam over Lesnar. So I don't know what's going on here, but to me, this is one of those matches where it's like, yeah, it should have been clean, but I feel like people are just so sick and tired of Lesnar's title reign that it's like, we'll take it. At least that dang title is off of Lesnar. And hey, I'm a Brock Lesnar fan, but I'm not a fan of the way they've booked his lengthy title reigns, especially when they know of his schedule. And even more further, I would say the lackluster way they went about always explaining storyline. Well, the 30-day rule doesn't matter until it's on, someone like Naomi and all that stuff. It's like, oh, well, now the 30-day rule applies. It seems for now this is over, because I'm looking forward for Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Cormier in the Octagon for the UFC Championship. So, yeah, that's what I thought. I wish it just would have been clean, but hey, the title is off of Lesnar, and WWE actually went there and put Seth Rollins put the title. I didn't think they were going to do it, but they did. I'm going to start with you, man, 001, because I was telling everybody, you know what? Everybody thought Lesnar was going over, but you, brother, you kept the faith. You kept telling me, you like, I feel Seth Rollins raw now, so I applaud you. You did not give up hope. You believed from day one when Seth won the Rumble that he was getting the championship. So, man, you were there. I know you're a big Seth Rollins fan. What was it like there at MetLife Stadium?
Yeah, man. First and foremost, let me tell you, the minute Seth Rollins dropped that Intercontinental title, I was like, he's gonna be Universal Champion. The second he lost that IC title, like the last time the referee put his hand down for that 3 count, I'm like, yep, Seth getting that title. Seth's getting the Universal title. That's that. That's how long it's been for me. Over the last 3 years, I've been hoping Seth Rollins to get that title since Finn Balor fell off to injury. But the way I saw it was when Seth Rollins wins the Rumble, he's got to win it. He's got to win at WrestleMania, because if he doesn't, this right here invalidates the Royal Rumble, and it makes the Royal Rumble look like one big red herring. And it makes it not seem like this is an event that every guy must win, or every woman must win, as we'll see later on in the night. but definitely Seth Rollins had to win this. And, you say the victory wasn't clean. I mean, it looked pretty clean to the referee. And so,
Yep.
so if it looked pretty clean to the referee, as we'll see also later on in the night, it looked pretty clean to me. So, yeah, being in the MetLife Stadium, we were shocked. And by the way, when Seth Rollins does the whole burn it down during his intro, like the butane you can feel coming off the pyro coming out of there.
Nice.
It's like so real because it actually has the heat just like go right over the audience, especially if you're sitting as close to the Titantron as I was. You definitely have that. So definitely, it was exciting. I almost lost my voice for the night during that match because
it made you fangasm right off the bat.
Yep. So for me, it was just like, got in there, and he did it quick, too. It was kind of reminiscent of the Rey Mysterio JBL match from WrestleMania 25, which I was also at there. As JBL came out, did the whole spiel of decisive victory, attacked Rey Mysterio a bunch before the match. As soon as the match began, they wrestled a little bit, and he got his stuff in and got the fuck out.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, Stvo, what about you? What's your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it was a huge surprise that...
no, excuse me, I should say this mostly segment and small match.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I heard on the dirt sheets, like No DQ and Ringside Roster, that basically, yeah, like Hulk Hogan didn't know what was going on. This was kind of a last-minute decision. They were originally going to open the show with AJ and Randy Orton, which I kind of expected to be the opener, but I guess Brock wanted just to go home or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I was like you, son. Basically, I was like, okay, they're not going to give us three, faces or fan favorites winning the night. So I thought Seth Rollins would have been the sacrificial lamb in the whole grand scheme, but thankfully he was not, and it's nice to have a champion that will be on Raw every week for the foreseeable future, at least. The match wasn't anything too special, but I mean, it was nice seeing Seth get his victory, especially seeing that he actually had the upper hand on Raw as well. I wouldn't have expected that. Like you mentioned, Roman didn't get any. He didn't get it easy, and he's the guy that they always put over big time. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see Seth get a pretty nice victory over Brock. So.
Okay, baby.
For sure. So yeah, and now we'll move on to the next match: AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. I thought this was one of the best build-ups they've done for this particular WrestleMania, and I was very excited to see this match. The match itself, I actually liked. I know some fans out there didn't like the match. They thought it was it under-delivered and everything. And I'll tell you this, and you both were there last year at WrestleMania 34. I thought this was a lot better than AJ Styles versus Nakamura last year at WrestleMania. But I really did enjoy this match. And what I liked about this match is the match psychology-wise felt like AJ Styles truly studied Randy Orton, because it's like you look at a lot of Randy Orton's matches, those RKOs out of nowhere are so spectacular, and we all ooh and ah over at WrestleMania 31 when he caught Seth Rollins going for the curb stomp. But the thing is, you gotta, it's like in a match from a kayfabe standpoint, you can't let yourself just have your body go fly in the air and think you got Orton. Orton can just hit RKO out of nowhere, and I love that repeatedly in this match. AJ Styles, like when he jumped on the top rope and Randy Orton went for the RKO and just landed on his back because he held there and went for 450 splash. I liked it. I love that stuff. I do find it interesting that if he lands the RKO on a person, it doesn't hurt him, but if he basically just lands on his back, it hurts him. You're still landing your back, but whatever. It's pro wrestling, right? But that being said, I liked it over and over. Randy Orton kept trying to hit the RKO. He did hit one, but he wasn't able to get it like any of those spectacular ones. And like when at the end, AJ goes for it again, the phenomenal forearm, and Randy Orton basically tries to catch him off the ropes, but he turns into like a neck breaker. And Randy Orton was really getting clobbered twice with those phenomenal forearms. I thought that was really cool. And in the end, AJ picked up the victory. Would have been nice to see a Styles clash in this match. That's the only thing I would have liked to see. But overall, it was good. I liked the psychology. I liked that it really seemed like AJ Styles understood that, yes, Orton can hit this out of nowhere. So you have to trick Orton. You have to make him think that he's got an RKO and everything. I loved it. It's like watching a UFC fight when they try to trick you that, oh, go for this. No, I'm going for this. I land you a punch here. You left you open. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. Tell us, Man 001, what was the live perspective about this? You had a pretty good seat from what I saw, but apparently through most of the match, the poor crowd, if you were a far distance from the ring, you were blinded by this golden light. And Randy Orton went on social media and apologized because he was getting upset thinking the crowd was ignoring the match, but it's just they couldn't see. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous and unnecessary. What's the purpose of these lights if it's gonna blind your audience? It's like me making a movie and I'm gonna have this big golden dot in the middle of the movie and you can only see the edges and the corners. Like, what's the purpose of it? I can't see the whole movie. Go on, Metro 001. What was it like live audience? Could you tell that they were being blinded? And did you enjoy the match?
Yes. Okay. First and foremost, we get the match out of the way first. I enjoyed the match. There was some pretty good psychology right there. This pick and roll, bait and switch of AJ Styles he did on Randy Orton. This is a pretty decent match. Pretty decent match. Pretty serviceable. You know what I mean? Some of the moves performed in this match were pretty spot on. But big ups to AJ Styles for getting his third WrestleMania victory. It's a really meaningful one because last year he and Shinsuke Nakamura put on a lackluster match. You know what I mean? It's when we know that he and Shinsuke are capable of having a lot more, capable of much more than what they did last year. But AJ versus Randy this year definitely was a good match. I think it's his best match since Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 31. No, at WrestleMania 32. I'm sorry. It's that right there. It's a full year off. Pulling the Sin Cara right here. I'm getting it all mixed up. So WrestleMania 32. It was a really great match that he had. And he put on a pretty decent match against Shane. Okay match against Shinsuke, and now he's back putting on a pretty good match against Randy Orton. You know what I mean? I wish there was a little bit more in this match, but most certainly it was a good match. Now, as for the live perspective, I had me some pretty good seats, and I got to be pretty close to the action. And another thing about that is this.
Yeah, since you were next to the Titantron, you were facing the opposite, basically, of that golden light that was blinding everybody was behind you, basically.
That golden light was behind me. It was blinding people like who were in the upper risers, who were sitting up in the stands. They were getting blinded left and right. And they were like, we can't see. So let's see. So so myself and some other people, we pulled aside one of the guys, and we said, those people up there can't see. So they turned the lights down, and and they gave us a thumbs up, and they asked the people up there seeing, and they gave them a thumbs up as well. So everything was resolved at that point.
Oh, nice. That's why it's good to have the live perspective from you.
Yeah. So, when the lights are there just so the arena can have a little bit more color than it actually does, and so it can give it a little bit more flair.
Right. But I think we all will agree less is more. And Steve, what was your thoughts on this match?
I thought it was very good. Him and AJ Styles did well. They had a great build-up with the whole being born into the business aspect of Randy Orton being the son of Cowboy Bob Orton. I thought that was
great thing, and he said how AJ had to work from the bottom up, being in TNA and ROH, the Indies, the international scene. I thought that was great. 2 different backgrounds, and of course at WrestleMania it was nice that they finally clashed, and I thought that they both did a hell of a job. In response to it being as good as or better than the Nakamura match from last year, I'm one of the few who actually enjoyed Nakamura versus AJ Styles last year. I'd say I have the bias of being there live, but I liked that one a little more personally, so go figure.
Wow. Well, you know what? Hey, I tend to be in the minority when it comes to Brock Lesnar and Triple H's match at WrestleMania 29, as I always liked that match the most and just felt that if it had the ending of their first match, it would be better. But moving on here to the Fatal 4-Way, and I'll just mention, too, those lights. I do think they should fix them. I remember at WrestleMania 33, we were close to the ring, but when I looked up at the Titantron, I'm like, whoa, what are these blinding lights? Yeah, but anyway, the Fatal 4-Way SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. So you had Aleister Black and Ricochet against The Bar, against Nakamura and Rusev, against the Usos. Man, the difference a year can make when it comes to both Nakamura and Rusev. Man, WWE for you, man. The Usos.
What I gotta say is if I was in high school and Nakamura and Rusev were were around when I was in high school, I'd say this: in high school, you was the man's, homie. What happened to y'all?
I mean, it's sad. It's sad with the booking. But once it came out that the Usos signed new contracts, I figured they're probably gonna go ahead and win. Hey, I thought everybody had they had some really cool gear in this match for WrestleMania. It was pretty good standard stuff, when you have all these tag teams going at it. I thought Ricochet always shined with all his high flying maneuvers. But in the end, the Usos pick up the victory. Actually, I thought they were gonna have the Usos versus the Hardy Boys for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, because that sounded like a big marquee match to me for tag teams, but they ended up doing that on SmackDown, and of course the Hardys defeated them, as we saw tonight as we're recording this after SmackDown, so I have no idea why they wouldn't do this on the show, but yeah, it was, I think, a little nice, good showcase. To me, Ricochet stood out, and yeah, but I'm glad that Ricochet and Aleister Black did not win, because I think those two can succeed as single stars like they did in NXT. While the makeshift tag team they've created for them is cool, I think these two can stand on their own. So that's what I got to say about this match. Anything you'd like to add about it?
Well, what I have to say about the Fatal 4 tag team match is that the Fatal 4-Way tag team match is this. It was a pretty good match. They've definitely had pretty, they had pretty good chemistry going through this match. One of the funniest things I saw in this match was the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. The spin they had one spinning around, and they had the other one doing the chest, the fist to the chest on the outside, where he's giving them the 10 punch on the outside. So he had the fans just counting each one, seeing which one we're going to count. It's just like,
oh yeah, I remember that. That was cool.
That was funny, and they also had the Usos out there doing their thing and everything else. But I'm happy for the Usos. They are definitely did a really good job here. I think this is their third WrestleMania as tag champs, I believe, going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially when it took them so long to finally get on the main the main card.
Yeah, so making them the one of the only few teams to ever go into a WrestleMania as tag team champions. So it's just like, yeah, they, to defend the tag team to be people defending the tag team champions. But definitely, the numbers aren't the other two teams. I believe it's two other teams that did it before. Not coming off the top of my dome right now, but definitely, I'll probably bring it up later.
And how about you, Stvo?
It was a good match. I thought, all 4 teams put a hell of a job. I still think that they should have had the Hardys in place of Nakamura and Rusev. I mean, it would suck for last year's Royal Rumble winner of Nakamura to be in a pre-show battle royal or whatever. But I think that, the Hardys should have been in that spot instead of the whole, that aspect. And yeah, I was shocked that Ricochet and Aleister Black didn't win. I know they had like 2 other tag title opportunities, of course, with the Raw titles last week. And then they had the NXT titles Friday against the War Raiders, which was, by the way, a great match. Both those men, Ricochet and Aleister, show they can put on a hell of a match. I guess it's okay they didn't win the tag titles, though. I mean, I'm not too keen on throwing together teams at random. I guess they would have been okay, but yeah, maybe with the Superstar shakeup coming up, they'll be on separate brands, and we get to see how they fare on their own on the main roster instead of being a tag team. I think that'll be good. The Usos are a great tag team, so it's totally okay that they did retain their titles, and we'll see where they go from there. And yeah, of course, the Bar, they're kind of losing some steam. Great team. I mean, they were once a thrown together random tag team, but they had made quite the name for themselves over the years. But we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, let's move on to the Falls Count Anywhere match. The Miz versus Shane McMahon. This match got a lot of build-up, and I felt once they had Falls Count Anywhere, we're probably going to get that big old Shane McMahon spot, so I figured, like, this is going to be a pretty good match. I like the psychology. Miz wanting to rip Shane's head off, as he should. That's the way these grudge feuds should happen. And very early on, Shane McMahon took the Miz out, and I thought Mr. Mike Mizanin, and in case you guys actually haven't seen, check it out my YouTube channel. I met George Mizanin at WrestleMania 33 to give a shout out to Solid Monster Sounds Off. So definitely, he was a really cool, nice guy. And Solid Monster is always a big fan of this guy and everything, and just basically his facial expressions. He's a hilarious guy, and he got in the ring, and he was ready to go ahead and put his dukes up and throw hands with Shane. And I thought Corey Graves on commentary was hilarious when he told Shane McMahon tries to help him with his form, and he says, "See, that's a total class act by Shane." Yeah, we were with the friends we were watching with, man. We was like, oh man, we wish we could have your perspective on his stance. But therefore, the match was good. They were fighting all over the place. They got to the high platform where the camera was up, the higher cameras away. We thought it was hilarious that even the cameraman wanted to get out the way. Reminded me of shades of WrestleMania 17 when The Undertaker and when The Undertaker and Triple H fought on a very similar platform. That being said, though, this all culminated. They were very high up, and you're thinking like, okay, they're gonna go ahead and maybe Shane's gonna dive off something, maybe he's gonna drop Shane off, but no, we get the Miz doing a big superplex off the high platform into the gimmick whatever crash mat they may have had under the gimmick board that they had, but it looked really great visual, good, nice callback to everyone who remembers all the crazy stuff Shane used to fall off of back during the Attitude Era and thereafter. But while we were all marking out over this spot, the referee counts 1, 2, 3, and we're looking at the camera, and where the camera angle set, and you see that Shane clearly is his arm is over Miz, and 1, 2, 3. So it's like, what a bait and switch ending. You're like, oh, that was awesome. That was what? Shane McMahon, what? I mean, it's like, wow. I was like, what? I was like, what is this? What is this? I really thought the Miz should have went over, and with Miz and with Shane McMahon being a heel, you wouldn't feel bad about Shane, because in the storyline, Shane's been the babyface and he loses. But now here, like, it would have been right for him to lose, and it looks like this is going to continue with Shane McMahon still being a bully over the announcer. Was it Greg Hamilton? Yeah, I guess this is gonna continue. It has to, because if it's just a one and done, Shane got the victory like that, Boo. I really thought Miz had done it, but Miz did an awesome job with his promo, and this match was good. Definitely one of the best matches on the show for sure. You take it away, Mantros there. Well, what was it like? How far were you from that big platform spot and everything? What was the atmosphere like? And tell us, what is your thoughts on George McZannon's stance?
Oh man, what stance? what stance was that? I mean,
perfect. Hey, at least he tried his best. Piccolo and Gohan. Piccolo trying to save Gohan from Nappa. Explosion devastation for all you Dragon Ball fans out there. Perfect. But overall, what was your thoughts on the match, though?
Let's see. My thoughts on the match was this. First and foremost, having a live perspective of it was it actually came up to my section. Yeah, so they brawled up to my section, and I got to see the match up close and personal. You know what I'm saying? So I got to see the match. I got to see part of the match up close and personal.
Yeah, you had to have the best seat in the house for that one.
Oh yeah, they came up to my section, and it was a guy with a something 316 sign that got on pay-per-view, and he ran through and everything, but yeah, for me, I wasn't going to push through that crowd. My big ass was not going to push through that crowd. No. Because it's just like, yeah. I mean, it's like, it's like this. When you watch that match, it's pretty serviceable match. It's like a hardcore match from back in the day. Watching it, seeing it, and everything else. It just reeks of 1999 to 2002 hardcore match. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of an old school Attitude Era style and hardcore match with a Falls Count Anywhere one. And fun fact, this is the first ever Falls Count Anywhere match in WrestleMania within within 25 years. So first one since WrestleMania 10.
Wow.
All the other matches in hardcore and hardcore matches are street fights. Hardcore Extreme Rules or street fight matches. This is this right here is a match that was listed exclusively as Falls Count Anywhere. And I had fun watching this match. I actually got to see it up close and personal. I got to see the Miz and Shane McMahon up close and personal. And and they went up there and they went through all of the other announce tables of all of the other foreign-speaking languages, foreign nations. But it was just, yeah. And then you saw...
Yeah, I always pop. I'm like, Funaki! Every time they go to the Japanese one.
Funaki, his chance, too. I actually met Funaki.
Nice.
So it was just like... I couldn't get a picture with him because my phone was dying. So it was just like, ugh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got to speak a brief moment.
Hey, before we move on, what was it like seeing that big spot in person where they did the superplex off the platform?
It was pretty cool seeing it. It was pretty cool, seeing it. It was kind of like watching your friends act like jackasses from Jack. Honestly, in my mind, I was like, this is Shane McMahon and Mike Mizanin, and this is Jackass.
Perfect. Hey, Steve, what's your thoughts, man?
I thought it was a very solid match. It was pretty crazy, that big fall they took. I didn't expect that. Or I knew that Shane McMahon was going to do something, but yeah, for both men to fall that high. Interesting that Shane was the victor. I guess the match the feud will continue. And yeah, in the past couple years, I guess this is Shane McMahon's fourth WrestleMania since returning, because there was 32 against The Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell, 33 against AJ Styles. Last year, the team up with Daniel Bryan against KO and Sammy. Yeah, Shane brings his A game. I mean, there's always a spot that somebody else could be taking and all, but I think this would be just fine. I thought this was fine. Good match. I guess the feud will probably continue unless Miz gets moved to Raw. But I guess they could still continue that feud because Shane McMahon and the whole McMahon family can be on both shows or whatever. So it will be interesting to see from there. In the recent years, I've definitely become a bigger fan of The Miz, especially meeting him in person. He was just a really cool guy. He busts his ass off. He may not be as good as someone like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, but he does bust his ass, and I got respect for that. And he can put on a pretty solid match when given the opportunity.
Great input, Steve. What I forgot to mention, too, I thought there was some tremendous heel work with Shane McMahon and Greg Hamilton, the ring announcer, with him forcing him both on WrestleMania and SmackDown to say, "The best in the world." I thought it was pretty good. But let's move on to our next match here. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way match. So we had the Boston Hug Connection consisting of Bayley and Sasha Banks up against Nia Jax and Tamina versus the Iconics versus Natalya and Beth Phoenix. I have always been a huge Beth Phoenix fan. I was there the night she won her first women's championship at No Mercy 2007, and then 10 years later when she went into the Hall of Fame in 2017. So the thing here, it was cool to finally see Beth Phoenix get a huge, big WrestleMania match, because to my knowledge, I think they always put her in battle royals or tag team matches and everything, and she never, like, this is like, I think, like, her most important women's match of all time at WrestleMania. This match, so I'm gonna be honest, I forgot the Iconics and Nia Jax and Tamina were even in it most of the time. For the most part, this looked like a tag team match, at least from what I'm just remembering off the top of my head. It looked like a tag team match between the Boston Hug Connection against the Divas of Doom. And it was really good to see, by the way, Bret Hart come out and accompany them for a brief moment, you know, being that he's okay and everything from that jerk that attacked him at the Hall of Fame. So that was really awesome. Bret, truly a true professional. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Love how he is still keeping a positive mindset, just focusing on all the positive, and so that meant a lot. And it was cool to see the Hart Foundation gear that both of them were wearing. But yeah, I forgot that Nia, Tamina, and the Iconics were even in this match for a good portion. I really wish we could have gotten Beth Phoenix versus Nia Jax more, or maybe even do like a tribute to the Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant Slam or something like that. And at the end, of course, I think was it Beth Phoenix? She did she did the work, but it was the Iconics that threw her out of the ring and took advantage, got the pin 1, 2, 3, and the Iconics are our new, basically WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Totally did not expect Sasha and Bayley to lose the title, but this definitely assured that, yeah, there's definitely going to be no 4 horsewomen getting together at the end with the titles, but they made it winners take all style, could they, right? That being said, totally did not see the Iconics winning. This is one of those things to me where it's like, you have to look at it from a kayfabe standpoint and a shoot standpoint, right? From a kayfabe standpoint, what exactly has WWE done to build up the Iconics for this big win? That's why people are like, what? For real? You know, it's not like they were building them up as this devastating force and like, oh, they might have a chance, and they win. But then when you get past that and you look at it from a shoot perspective, you know, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, these are 2 women that really worked their butts off to come from Australia, to come to the U.S. They worked their butts off in NXT, and I thought they actually had some pretty good matches in NXT and everything. It's just when they got to the main roster, it felt like WWE, something changed with the way WWE booked them. But that being said, congratulations to them, because I know they both worked hard, and you could see the pure emotion on their face of them crying that they're the I keep wanting to say Smack and Raw down and Raw and SmackDown, ugh, botch there, but they're the tag team, the women's tag team champions, so congratulations to them. But if you were gonna go this route, I wish they would have been built up more. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Overall, yeah, I felt like Beth Phoenix didn't get as much offense as she did in her Raw match. That's probably why they gave it a lot to her. But yeah, overall the match was there, and yeah, I mean, didn't go the way I thought it would be, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, that said, what about you, Mantra? What's your thoughts on this match?
My thoughts on the match was this. I'm happy for the Iconics getting this victory. This right here is just like Ryder's and Hawkins. These are two friends from high school. Yeah, friends from high school, coming up through high school over, and I believe in Australia. That's where they're from. Them getting that. Them getting that. That victory is definitely something more meaningful. I'm glad to see Beth Phoenix back and her and at least compete for the titles. And Sasha, I don't know where they're going to go from here. Hopefully, we finally get that blow-off match and that rivalry that we're looking for. My fiance, she was very bummed out that Bayley and Sasha didn't get the win, but it's just like, but at the same time, it's, it is what it is.
Right.
And I hope that they get I hope the Iconics get a pretty decent run out of this, because they are the best female heel tag team on the roster, and I think they, and I think that they will definitely will get that for sure.
Right.
We'll definitely do good with it for sure, but it was just like everybody was mad because people I was sitting next to, I was talking to them. They were like, we already know the Iconics aren't winning. I was like, are you sure? I said, you're positive. You want to put some money on that?
I don't blame them. Why would you with the way they've been booked?
I said, are you sure? I said, I even spoke to my fiance. I said, it would not surprise me if they put the titles on the Iconics. So for me, I had the Iconics winning this match.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show moving forward, WrestleMania, WWE is going to definitely try to be a lot more unpredictable like we got last year. But Steve, what did you think about this match?
I thought that was great. I was happy to see Bret Hart come out with Natalya and Beth Phoenix. I thought that was great, especially with that whole Hall of Fame debacle, of course. That was horrible. That stupid quote-unquote fan who attacked him. It's just like, jeez. Yeah, the Iconics, it was funny. Billy Kay, I believe, had those horns. Cool outfits they had come into the ring. But yeah, it was funny that when Billy was trying to go through the ring ropes, the horns kept hitting the ring ropes, so she had a little trouble getting in. But yeah, I was predicting Team Boss and Hug connection. I thought, okay, that they've only been tag team champions since February. This is these titles were just made, so I thought they may have had a lengthier reign. I mean, yeah, of course there was the titles, the women's tag titles in the 80s, but most people don't know they existed, except for the older fans or the most diehard of fans. I only discovered that a while ago. I'm glad the Iconics won. Like I said, I would have preferred Boss and Hug, but they would have been my second choice. And, they've always been the tag team, even before they announced the women's tag titles to come to the WWE roster. They were a tag team basically in NXT, and then when they came to SmackDown last year, and ever since, they've always been a duo. They've always worked together as a team. Even if they have solo matches, they'll be at each other's sides. They are pretty much the definition of a tag team. The only ones that may come a little closer, Diva's Doom, Beth and Natalya, back in those days, but Beth was basically brought back as a surprise act. They always do that here and there with WrestleMania. Or the Bella Twins, but they're both retired, so we won't be seeing them in action. So I guess we'll see where the Iconics take it. They're a pretty worthy team to be tag team champions.
Nice input, Steve-O. But hey, let's move on to what I feel was the match of the night. The WWE Championship match. Captain Daniel Bryan, Captain Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Oh man, Daniel Bryan has been tremendous as a heel. I mean, this guy came back a year ago. We never even knew if he was gonna make it back in the WWE ring, and here he is, the champion. No, I was making Captain Planet references all through watching the match with our friends, but yeah, no doubt though. All jokes aside, Daniel Bryan's been a tremendous heel. This has definitely been his best reign, I think, as WWE champion, given that all of them ended very abruptly. So that's got to be by default. And Kofi Kingston. All right, so you know what? Let me just go through the match, and then I'll get to why the ending meant a lot. What I liked about this match, you had the clear-cut good guy, the clear-cut bad guy. The crowd was hot. They really wanted Kofi Kingston to win, and I like how this match built up. You had the match, Daniel Bryan's is basically just wrestling circles around Kofi Kingston, but Kofi Kingston still has that fire, and he makes the comeback. He starts making the comeback and coming back at Daniel Bryan, and it gets to the point where, things start getting desperate, so Eric Rowan interferes, and the New Day, they end up having Kofi's back, and it gets down to where it's Kofi and Daniel Bryan one-on-one. So many really cool near falls where they kept trying to create it, and I wanted Kofi to win, but I'm after especially Asuka, I'm like, I just can't put it past the company that they might even have Daniel Bryan win. And they did a lot of great near falls, a lot of great scenarios where you think, okay, is Kofi gonna tap out to the label lock? Is he gonna lose to the flying knee? Oh, Kofi gets this here, he gets the SOS, or was it Trouble in Paradise? I forget which one. And Daniel kicks out. He's like, oh man, are they gonna do it? But I think it was Trouble in Paradise. In the end, though, after a lot of great suspense, Kofi Kingston nails the Trouble in Paradise on Daniel Bryan. 1, 2, 3. I'm telling you guys, I have waited 11, like a lot of you out there who have watched Kofi since the beginning, 11 years to see this moment. Kofi Kingston, finally, the WWE champion. I'll take it back to 2009 in high school. A good friend by the name of Rob, of me and Lawrence, a good friend of ours. Back in high school, we were talking for that Elimination Chamber. We wanted to see Kofi win the championship then. And of course, what happened? Edge took him out before he could even get in. I've been over the years, all the Air Boom, all the different makeshift tag teams they made with him, to the New Day. I mean, if you go back to, what was it, last year for Money in the Bank, I wanted to see Kofi Kingston win the Money in the Bank. So I've been wanting to see Kofi Kingston win the title for a long time. Sure, the storyline could have been better, and as opposed to just out of the blue, and I even thought they got convoluted at times with Vince McMahon, but at the same time, I did think it was also cool that you see that they were, they went over, they kind of tried to make up all the years they didn't push Kofi and just put it into one big gauntlet match and whatnot, but regardless of the fact, I think so much time what happens with WWE is you respect how hard he's worked, and you're figuring like, if this is the only shot, then fine. You'll put away the logic of how he's been booked, and for this meant a lot. I've been wanting to see Kofi Kingston the champion for the longest. Just like CM Punk. They interviewed CM Punk and he said, let's be real, not to put a downer on the moment, but he said, this should have happened 10 years ago. That's basically what he said a decade ago. I've been wanting to see this for so long. We finally got it. Seeing him celebrate with his family members, with his family, his sons, and the emotion on Big E and Xavier Woods, who have in interviews over the years said they have wanted to see Kofi Kingston get this moment. So there was a lot of real emotion in there. I saw the video of MVP and Shad Gaspard looking on, and they were there with Kofi during those times when we were hoping he was going to get that championship push. So you just knew this meant a lot to so much. It is finally glad to see it. This man has worked 11 years, worked his butt off, and he finally got it. Kofi Kingston himself probably never thought he was going to win the WWE Championship. This was excellent. the way the matches work, the way it built up to suspense, the big celebration, none but good things to say. And to me, it was about seeing the moment, because once again, you didn't know what you're gonna get. Obviously, we didn't get a 2-day Christian situation. We could still have a 2-month situation. Who knows? We don't know how far WWE will go. For all we know, it'll just be 1 month and then they go back, or maybe they'll give a long reign. Who the heck knows? But at least in this moment, we can say Kofi Kingston did it. He is the WWE champion. I am so glad to finally see this. Something I've been wanting to see for so long, and I finally got it, man. It's a great moment. And that's all I got to say about this. Man, 001, you were there. What was the atmosphere like? And what did this mean for you, man? Because I know you too. Back in 2009, we wanted to see Kofi Kingston win. Me, you, and our boy Lennox. We wanted to see him win the championship with that Randy Orton feud. We were really digging it, and then it just, it got swiped right up under the rug for him.
Let's see. What do I think about the Kofi Kingston win? First and foremost, I'm so happy about it, because I still remember seeing him as a Jamaican man, and as, he done bumped the clot and all this other stuff. I remember him going from that to, for a couple of years he held that up, and then he started speaking with his real accent, his real speak. That's number one. Number two, it's just like seeing him go from that to where he is right now is an amazing journey. It really is, because for so many years I was, and actually 5 years ago, I predicted Kofi Kingston would get the WWE Championship. I said he will become WWE Champion in 5 years. I said this back in 2014, because the moment I really think they should have put the WWE Championship on him was back in 2013. I think he should have been the one to end CM Punk's 434-day title run. That right there, I think, would have been the perfect moment to get that, because Punk and Kofi are friends. They could play up on that angle and they get that going. But definitely, I thought that was. I think that would have been the right time to do it. But for for him to finally get it, though, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was tearing up because it was so beautiful. It really is. I teared up and I put a fist up, and then I said Wakanda forever. Because here's a fun fact: one of the people that Kofi Kingston works out with, one of the people he trains with, in order to keep it, keep his in-ring style fresh, is actually a person who trained with Chadwick Boseman for Black Panther. So for me, it's just like I was able to make that connection. So when I say Wakanda forever, it really means it. So but yeah. So with that being said, I definitely teared up some watching that. It was I threw up the Black Power fist, because this right here was a proud moment. This right here meant that people like us, we can make it. People like us, through all the adversity and everything that's being put in front of us, the glass ceilings, the roadblocks, year after year, mile after mile, it can happen. This right here is one of those moments. It kind of reminded me of Chris Benoit finally getting the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 20, or Shawn Michaels getting the title at WrestleMania 12. This right here was definitely a moment like that. A moment. I would say that, people would say, but what about Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 30? The thing is, Daniel Bryan had already been WWE champion before, but so this right here, what makes this moment is more comparable to those two moments, because these are guys getting their first championship after so many years of grinding it out through and through. And here's a fun fact, though. Kofi Kingston, holding the WWE Championship en route to his WWE title. He is the longest tenured WWE worker to get the WWE Championship without an uninterrupted period of employment. That's one of the best things about this. Kofi Kingston definitely getting this. He's been with the company for a longer period of time, uninterrupted. That means he was never fired, never suspended. He had some minor injuries, but that doesn't count. But he was never fired or suspended or having to be let go. He had a clean record, everything, So he, unlike, unlike everyone else who had previously worked for the company off and on. Kofi Kingston becoming WWE champion was truly a historic moment. You know what I mean? And this win right here takes him, not only does it takes him to the WWE championship, it also takes him to being a Triple Crown winner, and it also takes him to being a Grand Slam winner as well. Like his hero and one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Shawn Michaels.
All right, Stevo, your turn.
Oh man, yeah, Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. A little cheap plug. You can see the reaction video of TooSweetCosplay, the admins, the other cosplayers, as well as the troops and sailors of the armed forces of the USO. We did a little party there. I'd say we were most on fire for that match that night, at least the periods I got to stay for. Yeah, it's nice to see Kofi Kingston, finally get the World Heavyweight title. I remember him way back in WWE's version of ECW. I don't remember the exact year off the top of my head that Kofi debuted. I believe it was 2008 or 2009, where he was doing his whole fake Jamaican accent, even though he's from Ghana. But no, he's been through a lot, and he's been a multi-time U.S. champion. He's been a multi-time IC, and of course tag team with the New Day, and even with CM Punk and Evan Bourne and R-Truth. I mean, the man's worked his ass off. It's been over a decade. I think it's great that he's finally gonna be a world heavyweight champion, and this was a historical moment. And don't get me wrong, Daniel Bryan is one of my all-time favorites, top 3, top 5 at least. But he had a very nice title reign. He made a great use of that hemp title, which was hysterical. And he always brings his A games to the match. I don't know, it would either have to be a horrible night for him or just something that just isn't working out. But yeah, he always brings his A game. Kofi, I can say the same about. Daniel's had the title many times before, and he had a pretty lengthy run. He was the champion since November. A little before a Survivor Series, he took the title off AJ Styles. So I thought that. So I mean, he had a great run. So there's no shame in him losing to the title to someone who's very deserving of it with Kofi. Both men put their A game on, of course, is WrestleMania. Fantastic job, and I think that it's going to be a good time for Kofi Kingston, whether he's a champion for only 1 month or if he holds it for a year. I'm excited to see what happens and if there will be anything that causes a rift between him and his fellow New Day friends, Big E and Xavier. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if that will happen or if they'll just remain a team until the title reign's done, or maybe even send the other guys to Raw while keeping Kofi on SmackDown. It'll be interesting to see where everything goes from there.
Well said, Stevo, and I remember you telling me shortly before we started recording here that this was your favorite match of the night, so it seems that we all are in agreement that this is the best match on WrestleMania 35, and what else can be said, really, Kofi Kingston, his whole career speaks for itself. He's reached the pinnacle of sports entertainment now, can only hope that he will have a lengthy run. That said, let's continue on with the next squash. The United States Championship match, Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. I describe this match as short, sweet, and to the point. They got in, got out. You know what? Too bad our boy Lennox doesn't really follow the WWE anymore, because you remember he was never the biggest Rey Mysterio fan. He would have loved this match. Joe went out and basically whooped the crap out of Rey Mysterio and put him to sleep.
Whooped his ass like he was his daddy.
Oh man, like quick, like this match was. Yeah, I think this match actually timed at literally 1 minute 60 seconds, and he put him to sleep quick, and he was asking for like, what happened? What happened? What? You were out. You were out. You were out. I'm glad Samoa Joe finally got his WrestleMania moment. Would have been nice if he had got a chance to do a spectacular match, but man, it is crazy. Samoa Joe was in the WWE for 4 years, and he's just now getting his WrestleMania moment. But anyways, I don't mind Rey Mysterio being squashed here because he's had his, let's face it, he's had his big WrestleMania moments. Didn't get better than WrestleMania 22. He's retired JBL in a similar fashion. So, yeah, for what it is, I mean, I guess something had to get cut short.
That spectacular match against Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 21.
True, yeah, lots of moments. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rey Mysterio, he's had a whole great WrestleMania career. So, you know, I'm fine here to basically make Samoa Joe look good because let's face it, Samoa Joe needs to look strong. But yeah, this was just a 1-minute match. I ain't really got much more left to say about it. Before we move on to the next match, anything you want to add about it?
Oh yeah, this match right here, it's one of my favorite matches of the night. It was over quick. You know, I like the quick matches. I love it.
Especially on an 8-hour show, right?
Yeah, especially on an 8-hour show. You know, I like quick matches and fights. Doesn't matter if it's MMA or pro wrestling. If it's over with and it's over with fast, I love it.
You just need Mike Goldberg, and it is all over just like that. Yeah.
Yep, it's all over with. The sooner, the better. That's all I got to say, and I'm glad it finished quickly. And I have to cross Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe finally gets a big-time moment in the WWE. He wins the U.S. title. He wins here at WrestleMania, finally making him look strong. I hope they keep this going along. I hope he finally can rest easy for a little bit and get that, finally get that chance to really show what he's made of, really show why we are fans of Samoa Joe, why we love and respect this guy so much tremendously, because he truly deserves this.
All right, what about you, Sto?
Yeah, not much to say really about Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe. It was funny. The Daniel Bryan Kofi match ended. I had to get ready to drive home. Excuse me. I had to get ready to drive home. But as I was getting my stuff ready, packing up my materials and putting on my jacket and everything, that match came on. I was planning to just leave, but they did the work for me because it was under 60 seconds. It was a 55-second match, I believe. Samoa Joe just laid waste to Rey. It was just funny that it was a squash. I mean, in the end, I guess, Rey Mysterio had his squash against JBL when I believe he won. It was the Intercontinental Championship. I was almost thinking Rey was going to win the U.S. title for the first time. They even noted that Rey never has been a United States champion. So I thought, maybe he would win. But then I was thinking, you know what? Samoa Joe just won the title. I mean, don't put it past WWE to do a title change like that, but it's nice that Joe's going to be a dominant guy. That doesn't bury Rey Mysterio at all. He's a former world champion. A champion of all sorts, very beloved by the fans, and even though he's a lot older, he moves around like he's a cruiserweight back in WCW in the 90s. That's how damn good Rey Mysterio is, so no harm, no foul. I mean, sure, we would have liked it to be longer, but, I mean, if you look at the whole card and just it being an 8-hour show, it's just like, yeah, you got to cut some of these matches to be a little shorter than you would have them. I mean, if this was next month's pay-per-view Money in the Bank or even at Fastlane they had a match, I'm sure they would have been allowed more time, but it was WrestleMania. They already have 16 matches, a pretty crazy-ass number. So eventually something had to be cut, and I'll live. It's okay.
For sure. But we went on longer than that match lasted. So, next up, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. I felt this was pretty much a match you would see on Monday Night Raw. I mean, it was a pretty solid match. Drew McIntyre did a tremendous heel work. Roman Reigns did his big comeback and wins. To me, this is more about the fact that Roman Reigns was at WrestleMania because we didn't know he himself did not know he was going to be back, and you could see the emotion on his face after the match. Him just sitting there for a moment, a turnbuckle, looking like apparently crying. And basically because he didn't know that he was going to be here, and you know, for him to overcome leukemia is a tremendous thing, and he made it back to WrestleMania. So I think that in itself is a big win, mostly what it took for him to get to this match. So I was fine with Roman getting the win. It seems like the crowd definitely, it had to be surreal being there, man. 0001, that Roman wasn't getting this whole amount of a hate storm rained down on him, and everything. So he finally got a cheerful welcome at WrestleMania. So it was fine for what it was. That's all pretty much I got to say about it. And I'm glad that Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre got a WrestleMania match, and that Roman was able to make it to WrestleMania after overcoming what he had to the last several months by defeating leukemia. What was your thoughts on the match, and what was the atmosphere like there? Like, was it surreal not seeing Roman get a ton of hate?
Roman did get some hate, but it was some douchebags there that were really, really, really bad people there. You know what I mean? Like, I disassociate myself with people like this. I'm just a critical person. I'm a critic, but I have offer constructive criticism on how they could do it better. But these guys were just hateful. They said one person said Roman should have put leukemia over.
Wow. Yeah, screw them. But the majority of the crowd, though.
Majority of the crowd was okay. Some didn't react. Other people who did react, most of the other people who reacted positively. And then you got that one screwball up there just being rude. So I shut him up. I said, I told him, I looked up to him and I told him, shut the fuck up, fuck face. The people out here trying to enjoy the show, and that's not just something that you should say.
Right.
You're not behind your, he kept on yelling. I said, you're not behind your keyboard, so I suggest you be quiet. and he shut up real quick.
There you go.
He shut up real quick. I said, you are not behind your keyboard, and so I suggest you be quiet.
Right. But what did you think, though, about the match, though, overall?
The overall atmosphere was it was pretty good. I liked the match. I didn't love it or anything else, but I liked the match. It was more of a storyteller match. It was Roman Reigns it was more of a symbolic victory over his leukemia than it was anything he had against Drew McIntyre.
For sure.
So that's what it looked like. So that's what it kind of appeared to me.
Okay.
But props to the bagpipes and drummers.
Yeah,
they did a real good job. First, they had the Drew McIntyre, beat in the background, but they were actually out there playing, and they did a really good job, and I enjoyed that.
All right, what about you, Sto? Do you agree with us on this match, or any other thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It was a good match. I almost forgot about it being on the card. I'm glad that Roman, is winning the battle against leukemia. So I knew that I don't see Roman losing any matches anytime too soon. Maybe when we get into summer, we'll see something. But for right now, I think that, with his comeback tour, obviously he and the Shield won it last month at Fastlane. They did their team match. Dean's going to be having his farewell. But, yeah, Roman's not going to be losing much matches anytime soon. But, you know what? They did a solid job. Good back and forth.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I still miss, what was it, Broken Dreams, though, is Drew McIntyre's theme. Let's move on to our next segment here. Elias getting interrupted again by John Cena. Now, we actually popped for this because we were like, okay, Cena's probably going to come out, and you hear the what was like Word Life, Basic Thugonomics, but you're like, oh, saw John Cena coming out. I love all the memes where it says the kid is like, "Daddy, who is that?" And then it says, "Daddy," with a tear in his eye. "He's back, son. The doctor is back." Yeah, John Cena coming out to his old wannabe gangster rapper gimmick, which is a big part of like teenage, when I was a teenager and everything. Well, we both were teens at the time, when we were like 13 and 14, and I think Stvo, you at the time may have been in your early 20s. And John Cena basically coming out, that's what got him over, basically, is the gimmick that got him over and that a lot of the fans missed. So that was a really cool surprise, and him coming out and doing his diss rap against Elias was a great moment, and I love that he acknowledged not an AA, an FU. So I thought this was a great WrestleMania moment. Would have been nice if he faced Kurt Angle, but I'm glad they were able to get him on the show. I mean, if you're gonna bring John Cena back, I mean, what better way to actually pop the crowd than get this? So I actually thought it was a good moment, and that was really cool. Now I know you, like me, Man True 01, are not the biggest John Cena fan, but hey, I did enjoy this version of John Cena more than the leader of the C Nation gimmick that they gave him, and has basically been all through the years. But what was your thoughts on this segment?
Oh man, what are my thoughts on this? It's simple, It's simple. Let's see. First and foremost, let's give props to CM Punk for being the prophet that he is. Because I remember back in 2011, CM Punk said this about John Cena. He called he says John Cena has become what he's hated the most. He's become the New York Yankees.
Oh.
And he come out there wearing that night.
Yeah.
What jersey did John Cena come out wearing at WrestleMania?
Oh man, was it the Yankees? Yeah.
Well, CM Punk, he is the prophet.
There we go.
He is the prophet, CM Punk. That's what he should come back in. He's the real wrestling Jesus. But yeah. Yep. He ain't. Let's see. Let's see. Best thing here and there. I digress from that. I think this was a pretty good segment. John Cena coming out and getting. I think this right here is going to be a running gag. Next year he's going to face Elias at WrestleMania, and Elias is going to beat him, and he's going to put him over nicely. Elias will finally get his WrestleMania moment next year.
3 years in the making.
Yes, that will happen next year. Elias will get that win over John Cena. John Cena mentioning stuff like golden shovels, turning heel.
Oh yeah.
And he said Elias likes. He says you killed the duet, so it seems like you only like playing with yourself. Then he did a cheap plug for his cashews nuts commercial.
Yeah.
So these are his nuts. And then he says you look like a little piece of Shih Tzu, because you're not a real full bulldog, but your bush is bigger. I'm just like, man, this is funny though. It was funny. It was an enjoyable segment. Hard for me to say anything like that about John Cena, but this right here is this right here was an enjoyable segment.
Yeah, it's about.
Elias will get his revenge next year. Mark my words, he will.
Right. Most of the time, I think we spent praising John Cena and everything. So, what did you think about the segment, Stvo?
Very cool. Yeah, it was nice to. I was never a big fan back in the day of the Thugonomics John Cena. I'd make jokes saying, "What is this? Main event Scotty Too Hottie." But no, he was very funny when he did the gimmick. It was nice to see the old school gimmick back. I think most people were expecting the Undertaker to come out and attack Elias, but wound up being Thugonomics John Cena. Yeah, nice change of pace. I did dig that, because if it wasn't going to be the Undertaker, it was most likely going to be John Cena. So it's nice they threw a little twist into it, and they didn't have it be John Cena from Bumblebee or John Cena from the new Ninja Turtles cartoon. But no, that was good.
Nicely said, Stvo. And I just wanted to make mention, of course, the next night on Monday Night Raw, Elias would say the next person to interrupt him would be a dead man. And that, of course, on cue brought out The Undertaker. And this was interesting because this was the first time since 2000, WrestleMania 16, that The Undertaker had missed WrestleMania. He's appeared at every single one of them since he debuted. And the only other WrestleMania he would have missed, I believe, was WrestleMania 10. So yeah, pretty interesting hearing that The Undertaker's not done yet, that he plans to perform at the next Saudi Arabia show that WWE's doing. Our next match here, the final match of Kurt Angle's careers, has been built by WWE. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. All right, so I'm think honestly we got nothing more to say than what everyone else has mostly been saying as far as doing this match. We could have been something more high profile, but I kind of figured they knew Kurt Angle was limited, so I figured they probably are going to have Baron Corbin do it because it's someone everybody hates, and it's a nice way to give Kurt Angle a quick squash victory on his way out. But that's not exactly what happened. But I will say this: it was great to see Kurt Angle come out with the fireworks, the entrance that we remembered him as, and I thought for the 5 minutes plus that this match lasted, Kurt Angle looked the best that he has in some of his single matches. I thought he moved pretty well, not as fast as he used to, but I thought he was moving around pretty good. He got in all his German suplexes, belly to bellies, angle slams, and he even did the moonsault and still did a really good moonsault. So I didn't know if he could still do it, but he did. But he missed it, of course, and Baron Corbin capitalized and got the victory. 1, 2, 3, and you saw the looks on everybody's face, and I can tell you with our friends that we were watching with, we were in awe. I could not believe it. I thought Kurt Angle for sure was gonna win, and Baron Corbin walks away. And I'll say this, you know what? Kurt Angle, he put over the young talent so many times. We talk about, the legends not putting over the young talent. I just hope they give Baron Corbin a big strong to justify this, basically, because, I mean, that way it's not in vain. If Baron Corbin can use this as the man who retired Kurt Angle and use it as a way to get himself over, and I think Baron Corbin's actually done a really good job. He's bounced back a lot from SummerSlam 2017, and I think he has taken the ball and run with it and everything, but yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully Baron Corbin is given a good push to justify this, and Kurt Angle, he went out with the saying, the you suck, one of the fans to say the you suck and everything, listening to his music. It would have been nice to see Kurt Angle get a nice bigger send-off, and when you go to Monday Night Raw, he does come out and he shakes Baron Corbin's hand and said, "You were the better man, but I wish you luck." Bad luck, does the angle slam, ankle lock, and Baron Corbin taps out immediately, even though he was stand a lot in the match. But after that, Lars Sullivan came out, and I really questioned. I'm like, I feel like Kurt Angle, for everything he's done, he's one of the greatest of all time to step foot in the WWE ring. One of the all-time greats. I just wish he had a better send-off. I just think he should have had a much more a hero send-off, a true hero send-off. But once again, he went out putting over Lars Sullivan. Couldn't Lars Sullivan done this to one of the current guys on the roster? But yeah, I just wish Kurt Angle would have had a much better send-off. I mean, even if he's putting over Baron Corbin, at least on Monday Night Raw, maybe the crowd, the fans come out, you have maybe all the wrestlers come out, give him something similar to what they gave Ric Flair, because Kurt Angle is one of the all-time greats, and I really felt he deserved a much better send-off. What's your thoughts, man? 001. Now, this is a guy, we both grown up watching this guy, man. This guy debuted, 20 years ago when we were kids, man. We've grown up watching this guy's whole career, from WWE to TNA to back to WWE. We were there when he went in the Hall of Fame. You go ahead, man. Oh, and one more thing I want to mention about Lars Sullivan. I noticed they had him, they booked him to attack the Hardys after they're fresh off from winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So, I don't know, maybe his gimmick is he's going to want to kill all of our Attitude Era heroes or something. Anyways, your thoughts on this match?
Man, it's kind of crazy. It's surreal. I was at Kurt Angle's first WrestleMania 2000, and I'm at his what appears to be his final WrestleMania 35. So it's been it's kind of surreal when you see this, it's like 19 years later, and I'm seeing Kurt Angle retire.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Kurt Angle through. I think I've been to all of Kurt Angle's WrestleMania matches.
Wow, yeah, I guess you have.
Yeah, from let's see, he was there for WrestleMania 2000 all the way up to WrestleMania 22.
Mm-hmm.
Then he came back and you're at their match with. I've been to all Kurt Angle's WrestleMania matches.
Nice,
and,
man. That's amazing. Yeah.
So it's like, that's crazy. And seeing Kurt Angle go out there and perform, and seeing him give it his all every single night, even when he's not feeling up to his best, even when he's not 100%, he still gives 100%. Right? And that's worked to his benefit, and that's also works to his detriment. That's probably why he's in the shape he's in right now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? And watching this match right here, I have to say Kurt Angle has definitely done a really good job trying to help get Baron Corbin over him, because Baron Corbin has been a really effective heel.
Definitely.
Getting, because everyone can't stand him. Like, it's a meme out there with people with two people shaking hands. Internet quote unquote smarts and casual internet, and wrestling quote unquote casual fans shaking hands. And the one thing they have in common is they all hate Baron Corbin. So Baron Corbin is in modern day professional wrestling is one of the most effective heels out there. And because he goes out there and he wears a suit, right? He wears like not a suit, but casual dress clothes. So he's not even looking like a real athlete. So he's not even looking like he's dressed to compete. It looks like he's about to go do some bartending or be a manager at Fridays or something. But instead he's out there to wrestle, and it's like that adds more to him being an obnoxious, insufferable heel. And he's one of the most effective heels on the roster today. And that man does not get enough credit for his heel work that he's doing right now. Totally, knocking it out of the park every night. Even as general manager, getting low ratings, he's a heel.
Yeah.
That's so effective as a heel. So it's just like, I think Baron Corbin is definitely due for another mid-card title run.
Sure.
That right there would definitely add to his character for sure. Having him be a chicken shit effective heel though, but effective heel, because this right here works for a guy like him.
For sure.
And also having a face that everyone wants to punch helps too.
There you go. Well, hey, let's
and also as the last little tidbit for Kurt Angle, having people out there saying that you suck and everything. There was one fan in the audience that had a sign that said, "You really don't suck, Kurt." So that right there was something. And I waved at Kurt Angle, and he waved back.
Nice.
He looked at my section. So if you see it on the network or on the pay-per-view replay, he's waving. He waved and looked at me. So it was just like, that was pretty cool. Looking eye to eye with the guy.
3 eyes right there. That's nice. Yeah, man. Kurt Angle definitely. I was gonna say I always was the guy when I went to the crowd. And I was always saying, "You rock, because I could never bring myself to say Kurt Angle sucked. And Steve, what's your thoughts on Kurt Angle's last match?
I guess it was an okay match, but that is nice, Lawrence, that you got to see Kurt Angle have his final retirement match. That's very touching. I still have a very special memory of John Cena having his debut match in Rosemont, Illinois against Kurt Angle. They put on a hell of a match, and I didn't know how big John Cena would grow to be, but apparently he was the face of the company for over a decade in the double O's to part of the 2010s. I wish they kind of did the whole rumored John Cena versus Kurt Angle as the last match. Cena had Kurt Angle as his first opponent. Then Kurt Angle has John Cena as his last ever. Think that could have been a great story told. Instead, they just went with the Raw GM feuding storyline where, Baron stepped in and took Curt's position on the card. The match was okay, you know. I don't think that Baron's really gonna benefit from this. I think that ever since he lost that to Jinder Mahal doing his Money in the Bank cash in randomly, and Jinder beats him within seconds, I don't see any recovery from that. And a lot of people frown upon his whole TGI Fridays waiter look, which, yeah, I think it's a little lame. I used to enjoy his lone wolf gimmick. I understand that he was kind of having a receding hairline. But, you know, I don't want to trail off too much off topic. It was nothing. The match, I think, for Curt's last match, they really could have put a little more heart into it and have a better opponent. And yeah, I just don't think Baron Corbin was the right guy. I mean, Kurt had a fantastic match against Chad Gable. He had a pretty solid match against Apollo Crews. I would have been very satisfied if those were his last matches. And then, you know, maybe they change it where Chad beats Curt, or maybe Apollo Crews beats Curt, and they go from there. But wasn't meant to be. But, you know, Kurt Angle among Daniel Bryan, among Shawn Michaels is one of my all-time favorites. So I'm happy, you know, he got to live out the dreams that he's lived. He had a very solid career. I'm glad he's going to, you know, take it easy. It appears he has signed a new contract with WWE. I'm assuming it's a Legends contract, so we'll see where that goes. Maybe he'll be a GM again if they bring back the GM position, or maybe he'll be a manager. But more likely, he's just going to be, he's probably just going to, you know, make appearances here and there, probably a Legends contract, probably appear at WrestleMania Access for things, just be a guest that they need him, excuse me, and then of course, you know, WWE Network specials, they'll always have these legends to come do table for threes, WWE ride-alongs. I mean, yeah, it's great they have Curt under their belt still, even if he's no longer going to be a competing wrestler. There's plenty of things they can do with Kurt Angle, so I'm happy for him. I wish him nothing but the best, and I'll wait to see what they have in store for him.
Well, that's very cool that both of you were there for those significant moments in Kurt Angle's career. And I'll make this last point in regards to Monday Night Raw. Okay, I can deal with the fact that Kurt Angle lost his last match to put over Baron Corbin. I can deal with Lars Sullivan making a debut the next night on a WrestleMania. But the hard thing to deal with is this really Kurt Angle's, the way Kurt Angle's send-off is? Just, did you have to have Lars Sullivan come out and put Kurt Angle down like that on Monday Night Raw? If there was anyone that deserved a very Ric Flair-esque type of send-off from like 11 years ago, it's Kurt Angle. He's one of the biggest superstars that company's ever had. So I just really wish I could have seen, and I think many fans do, that we could have seen Kurt Angle have a much better send-off for the amazing 20-year career that he's had. That being said, let's continue on to the next match, which is the No Holds Barred Triple H versus Batista. I'm going to be honest. To me, this was the, do they call it, I think the right term is for called a sleeper match. Going in, I didn't think this match would be all that good. I thought it was going to probably be very slow pace. Just you know, that Undertaker Triple H match from Super Showdown, man, it didn't leave a good impression on me. I'll say that as a fan. And I didn't even check. I still haven't checked out the Crown Jewel tag match. But man, these two guys busted their butts despite age limitations. I got to give it up to him. This Triple H and Batista match, far exceeded my expectation. This was much better than I thought it was going to be. And I dare say, I don't remember their first 2 matches all that well, because back then I was just so happy to see Batista win, and I know I didn't like the storyline of the second match, but I love their Hell in a Cell match. I think I dare say this was their second best match out of the 4 they had. Batista came out with a cool entrance, being escorted and everything out the limo and everything. It was great to hear I Walk Alone again by Saliva. I know the internet will not let this down. I know you enjoy seeing this. Batista botched because his foot, he lifted his foot up too high on the top rope, so when he tried to get over and lift his other leg up, bam, he fell over and he caught himself on his hand, and he played it off really well. But dang, very unfortunate that Batista's last wrestling match entrance is botched, and it was right there. There's no way they could have cut it off doing live. They were live, pal. Triple H, he every year seems to be upgrading the motorcycle entrance, so that was really cool. These guys, it was a brutal match. These guys went at it. They had the chains, they had tools. They did a spot where he ripped the nose ring out of Batista's nose, and the way they did it, you could tell, like the way Batista's eyes were balling out and the way he was looking, you could tell by he was covering it, and you even see the referee kind of hand it to him, like when they would hand the blades to him, and when they had Batista covering his mouth, you could tell he was just taking it out. But I get what they were trying to go for. Cool spot. Those tables would not break. A lot of wrestlers in matches were trying to break those tables. There was a really cool bump where they were on the steel steps, and Triple H did a big time body backdrop on Batista, and Batista did not fall. He just bounced off the table. But yeah, it was overall they did the cool spot from WrestleMania 21 when he went for the Batista bomb. Triple H nearly got the sledgehammer, but this time Triple H kicked out. I thought the spears, you could tell Batista was getting gassed and everything and stuff like that, but I still thought he looked better in this match than he did in any of the single matches that he had during his last run. I felt like the way Batista performed this match, you could tell he took his training really serious and tried to get in the absolute best ring shape he could. This match to me, I think, proved that Triple H, even though he's almost 50 years old, he's getting close to 50, it proves that, yeah, Triple H can still work a good match. And I think maybe he's got to be in there with, people that are it's probably better at this point Triple H works with younger talent, to help carry some of the load on the match. I figure they would do their spots, and do a no holds barred match to cover up limitations. But yeah, man, I give full props to these guys. They went out there, basically killed themselves for our entertainment, and in the end, Ric Flair got the sledgehammer and took it away from Batista, and Triple H had his own sledgehammer. Bam, hit Batista, and not the first, but the second pedigree is what put Batista away. 1, 2, 3. Triple H can finally say he got a victory over Batista. This storyline was kind of hilarious, with Batista saying only about 25 words to build it up, and the whole Spice Girl references and stuff like that. But yeah, much respect to these two. I did not expect this match to be as good as it did, and I thought it was actually one of the better matches on the show. It surprised me. Triple H and Batista, I thought for given their age limitation, I thought this was a dang good match. This is definitely, I think, the best Triple H match we've seen since we were there live at WrestleMania 33 against Seth Rollins. All right, man, 0001. I know you recently have a history now of these matches you've witnessed at WrestleMania. They keep coming back for you when you thought you weren't going to see them again. You saw Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, and then you saw it again, and here it is. I know you said this match put you to sleep the first time around, but I'm curious, what did you think? Especially, I know a lot of people out there, if you don't know, he's been very outspoken over the years. The man 0001 is not a fan of Dave Batista from a professional wrestling standpoint. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this match? Did you fall asleep nearly again, or did you think these guys actually put on a better match than what they did before previously? I didn't think it was as good as their Hell in a Cell match, but I definitely think it was better than their first two.
Man, I went to the bathroom during this
match. There you go. Dang.
And then I went to go get me something to eat, and I came back, and it was still going on. But I did like the psychology on Triple H's and using the channel locks and using those pliers and stuff like that, like the small subtleties and small details and stuff like that. You know, definitely like that for sure. And then for that match, Batista made some comebacks, but it felt like it was mostly dominated by Triple H. Like he put in a lot of the work in this match, and then having Ric Flair come out and interfere, it was just like it was like a roll. It was kind of like Ric Flair and Triple H finally got their win back over Batista after Batista thwarted their plots so many times all over and over again.
We'll see. It would have been better if the story was like that, but the story was Batista wanted, even though he beat Triple H 3 times, went on to become a world champion, one of the biggest stars in the business, and he became a bigger star overall than Triple H by making it in Hollywood. So it's kind of like, why the storyline would have been much better if Triple H was just obsessed with he had to get that victory he never got. But yeah, I just had to bring that up because you mentioned it there.
Batista. This is the best Batista I've seen. I like this Batista though. You know, it's kind of like Hollywood Rock, but this is Hollywood Batista.
Oh yeah, Hill Batista for the win.
So this right here, you know, give me what I want. It's been some of the best work in his entire career.
I love the meme with him as Drax. I love the meme with him and Drax where it says they took the Fallen. They said avenge the Fallen, and they replaced it with the words "Give me what I want." They took that, but they took the avenge the Fallen and slapped it over Batista's botch when he fell through the ring. That says avenge the Fallen. Oh man! Regardless of all the memes, I've always been a big fan of Dave Batista. For sure, man. I've always been a big fan of him. Regardless, and this is one heck of a match for him to go out on. So I will give it to that.
Y'all could have came. I wish you would have came along with, because seeing as how you're a big fan of him, and seeing as how this is one of your favorite wrestlers, I would definitely have loved you to come along with me through WrestleMania, because you know what I mean. For some people, retirement is retirement, and it's their last one.
Yeah.
And Batista, his career, he got his wrestling career started late in his life, so for him not having that, wrestling in him completely throughout his life, definitely, I see this being his last match for sure.
For sure, man. Yeah, but Batista was after Brock Lesnar, Austin Rock, and Brock gone for the most part for a good part of the 2000s. He was my favorite. He was the top guy to me and everything, and him and CM Punk both. So yeah. Overall, though, any final thoughts you want to add about this match before we move on?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I really wish they would have put they would have shaken hands after the match was over.
Oh, okay.
And I wish they put the stuff behind them. Because definitely I want when I see somebody go out, I really do. I like people to go out on respect. I like seeing them go out on respect. I like them to, because I understand they are characters and stuff, but when a character is getting their send-off, when the person behind the character is getting a send-off and the character itself is getting a send-off, I think, at the end of the day, professional wrestling is based on combat sports. It's a simulated version of combat sports, and they're out there acting out scenarios that would happen in, loosely based on combat sports. Mm-hmm. And I like respect being shown at the end after it's all said and done, because after all, it's only business, right?
For sure. I'm glad you said that, man. Yeah, that's the thing that I can't stand about how they just ruined, to me, the ending of the Shawn Michaels Undertaker saga. I thought that ended perfectly at WrestleMania 28 with all three of them embracing and walking out together like they've been through wars together and everything, and they're leaving as brothers. And then they just ruin all that 8 years later in the storyline. Now our last images of them are them hating each other on screen. Like, come on, in the storyline. And but I think we will get that moment. I think maybe next year in Tampa, Florida, because I know Batista lives out in Florida. He might be the headliner for the 2020 Hall of Fame, and I think we'll get that big moment. They probably will have like Triple H or Ric Flair induct him. So I feel like we will get a proper send off to Batista's career. So I totally agree. They would like to see there.
Know who they should really have inducted?
Who?
They should have John Morrison and Melina and Dustin.
Wow. All right, Steve, what's your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, the Triple H versus Batista filler match. I thought it was solid. I thought that it looks like it's gonna be it looks like it's Batista's final match as well. I mean, we had Kurt Angle and Kurt Angle's retirement tour, but yeah, Dave Batista, brought his A game. I know he really wanted this match against Triple H. Both men, brought their A game, and I thought it was very fun. Interesting that, Ric Flair did get involved in the match. But I figured that Triple H was going to finally get his win back against Big Dave, because Dave Batista never actually got a victory. Dave Batista has always won his matches against Triple H. So it was expected that, Triple H had to get his one win back from Dave. So, yeah, that's fine. Especially if Triple H is going to be the one working with the company, and he might even get in the ring here and there. I'm sure he'll get in the ring for the Saudi Arabia show. I don't know who the hell he'll take on, but I expect that to be a thing. He always has to have his one WrestleMania match each year. He obviously isn't working like every week like he would back anywhere from 10 to 20 years ago. He'd always do that, but he's been a very crucial part of the company, helping out with the NXT, helping out with NXT UK to some degree, even stepping in to help 205 Live. The man is busy, but he still keeps in great shape, and he did he brought his A game. Yeah, him and Dave both brought their A game, and I thought they did a solid job.
Well said. Now we move on to the Intercontinental Championship match. Finn Balor the Demon Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley with demon eyes. This is one of the most intense Bobby Lashley ever looked. He really looked like he came for a fight. It would have been nice to have Leo Rush talk at WrestleMania, and talk about the money and his man, right? Bobby, the money, smell like money, making WrestleMania be like money, all that whatever stuff. But hey, this is about the entrance, the Demon Finn Balor. We finally get to see this entrance on the big stage at WrestleMania. It was totally, the theatrics of it all totally fits the vibe of a big WrestleMania, stage. And the match, he didn't put Bobby Lashley away too quickly, but it was really cool. At the end, it comes down to the power bomb Finn Balor's body paint artist did a tremendous job on the body paint as well. It looked really sick, especially the back part. But yeah, he hit the power bomb on Bobby Lashley and did the coup de grace. 1, 2, 3 gets back the Intercontinental Championship. And then next night on Raw, we saw Finn Balor do another really good match with Sami Zayn. I thought that was great, and I like that Sami Zayn is going to be consistent and went right back to his heel ways that he left off. So yeah, I love when there is continuity in the WWE. But overall, a really great moment for Finn Balor. It was all about the demon, and that's what we got it. So what about you, man? 001. I know you wanted to see this entrance live. You finally got it, so I'm happy for you. What was it like actually seeing this entrance live, and your thoughts on the match?
I don't think that I get to see the entrance live. I got to see a specialized version of the entrance. So it was just like he was coming from a platform, and he was being lowered. Yeah, he was coming from a platform, and he was being lowered into the smoke and everything. So it was just like seeing him come down and seeing it happen. It was a great entrance, and seeing Finn Balor go out there and do his thing. I feel like Ireland got represented pretty well that night. Seeing Finn Balor become the Intercontinental Champion. We'll speak about what's going to happen later on that night, but seeing him get the Intercontinental title back and seeing Finn Balor finally being used in an effective and meaningful program, in an effective, meaningful way, is amazing. And also seeing Finn Balor get the Intercontinental Championship back, you know, and win it at WrestleMania despite losing the Intercontinental title match last year. Comes back this year and he wins it. I'm definitely happy for that, for certain.
Yes, indeed. And how about you, Stvo, when it comes to this match?
It's you know, it was expected that, you know, Demon Balor just takes out Lashley. You know, nothing too terribly special. It's nice seeing Finn Balor back in the demon paint. We can argue all day how silly it was that he would use the demon paint now. He used it on a random match with Baron Corbin. I don't know why the hell they chose that time of all matches, but he didn't use it against Brock Lesnar. He didn't use it in a Royal Rumble match last year when he had a title opportunity. You know, he had a chance to win a title opportunity. He also had, basically what I'm trying to get at here is that I think it was silly. I don't know. I love the demon. The demon gimmick is great. I get, you know, it's a pain in the ass to put it on. I wish Finn would just regularly use it more. I know they don't want to have somebody abruptly beat the demon, and they don't have anything in store for Finn Balor to win all of his matches because they're pushing other guys. I mean, I'm glad he's now a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. I think that's great. Lashley is too. Hope things will go better for him after this. He's a great wrestler. Finn's a great wrestler. Very, you know, both are very talented guys. I really don't care to see this feud continue if that is the plan. It wasn't necessarily confirmed it was a plan, but yeah, you know, I wish them well and hope, you know, Finn Balor actually starts using the demon more in his title defenses, and maybe they can coordinate something where, okay, Demon Balor can't come out for this match because of so-and-so reason, and that leaves Finn in a tougher spot where he has to be a tough champion as just the normal Balor Club Balor. Hopefully things will go well. You know, I really am a big Balor fan, so nothing but the best.
All right, so now it is time for the main event. The first ever women's main event in WrestleMania history. The triple threat winner takes all for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. I thought the entrances were great. You had Charlotte coming in from a helicopter, and we were laughing because like man, that is a long stadium to walk out. We're gonna really sit here and watch Charlotte spend the next 8-10 minutes to whatever it's gonna take to walk from the outside all the way. Yep, Joan Jett of the Blackhearts performed Bad Reputation live for Ronda Rousey. She came out smiling to him, and then she immediately put that anger face on. BMF walked all the way to the ring. That was really cool. Becky Lynch came out. Big time atmosphere you had here for the women. And I'm gonna say this. There was a lot of hype. WWE, I thought they really went overbook mode with this, especially the leg for the last several months, and that hilarious but entertaining. It had its logic issues, but it was entertaining nonetheless. The go home edition, but there was a lot of hype put into this. But man, 8 hours you all had to sit out there, and I didn't feel the crowd heat in this match. And I'm gonna be honest, I say this with the utmost respect for Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky. I am fans of all three of them, but I felt this match under-delivered. it was really hyped up, and honestly, man, I mentioned this in the NXT Fatal 4-Way Women's match. I thought it was a good match when I said my NXT New York review, but I felt like I had saw better single matches with the women, like Shayna Baszler that she's had with Kairi Sane and so forth, or with Bianca Belair. I felt like those single matches were better. I don't know, maybe like just adding Charlotte in the match here. Like, I felt like it should have been like most. I felt like it should have been Becky and Ronda all alone. But then even still, this match, it felt, I don't know, it felt like maybe our friend SMP, he felt like it felt like Charlotte, just like in the storyline, Charlotte was just there. And this match seemed off, as if they were rushing through it or something. Like they were all over the place sometimes. Sometimes there were some sloppy parts. I mean, Ronda was going in at it all. She was really like bringing the vicious side out. I thought I enjoyed her performance in the match, especially when Charlotte kept chopping her, and Ronda says, and I quote, "You chop like a bitch." And then Charlotte chopped her across the face, and then when she got the table, she was like, she flipped the table over. That was great, because the fans love tables, and she flipped the table over, and she said, "Table are for bitches," and kept going at it, and she was rag down them all over. There were some cool spots, like when I think Ronda ended up going over the top rope. I forget what it was, but then her back landed on the edge, and it looked really bad. But she managed to not get a disaster in. But man, I thought we'd see some more spots. I don't even know. I don't even remember if Charlotte went on the top rope and did one of those cool moonsault or corkscrew moonsaults. I don't remember if she did. She
not do it.
She did.
She did not.
She did. Yeah, like that. And that was always a big part of these matches. We didn't get any big table spots between them. Another thing, in the beginning, when the bell rang, they all took their time just looking and trying to figure each other out. I was like, this is the first time in the storyline, after 3 months of you all three wanting to rip each other's heads off, you finally have the right to do it. Nobody's going to stop you this time. And they just take the time to soak in.
That first part perfectly encapsulates this rivalry between all three. Okay, you know, you got people online, right, that talk shit to each other, right?
Uh-huh.
People like, yeah, man, I'll beat your ass, man. Let's square up. Let's meet upstairs, so and so. And then you see the people that was talking shit to each other finally meet up in person. They start acting more cordial and respectful toward each other. Yeah. Knowing they wouldn't say none of that shit to each other in person.
Yeah, it was weird. And I mean, you look at the triple threat match that at WrestleMania 32, which I thought stole the show, was the best match of that WrestleMania. That was awesome. And then you look at even the triple threat match that both Becky and Charlotte had with Asuka. That was awesome. And you think singles wise, Ronda and Charlotte had a really good match in Survivor Series, and a month before that, Becky and Charlotte had a really good match at Evolution.
Ronda's still in the first year of her career, and she's had a lot of one-on-one matches in her life.
Right.
She's fought on-one and everything else. Fighting one-on-one, that's her thing. She's had mostly singles and tag matches, throughout her WWE career. Over the last year, she's had mostly singles matches, and for her, she's used to engaging a person singly, and singularly, head on. She's used to facing stuff. She's not used to having to try to go out there and perform with two other people.
But I'll tell you, I actually thought Ronda was the most exciting part of the match. Like, I enjoyed her ragdolling Charlotte and Becky over.
She did what she had to do, but she was kind of out of her depth here. Mm-hmm. And also, she did this stuff with a broken hand.
Yeah,
she was in this match and she was injured, so she couldn't do it. Becky Lynch looked kind of like she kind of went out there and she was like she kept on going, but she never really got going.
Exactly.
Becky is a lot better than this, but it doesn't look like she got going the way she should have. And Charlotte, I know Charlotte is much better than this, so it's like Charlotte and Becky never got going, and then you got Ronda out there trying her hardest. So it's kind of like, these three just didn't gel like they normally would. And I know that
that's unfortunate, because there was so much hype put into this for the past 3 months.
The thing is, they should have had Charlotte versus Becky from the start. They should have had Ronda versus Becky from the start. They should have had that be the match,
Right.
that be the story, and that just ended everything out.
Yeah, I wanted Charlotte versus Asuka at WrestleMania in a rematch with Asuka going over, but yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought we would get like a cool spot where maybe Charlotte would put both of them in like a double figure 8, and they teased that she was gonna make both of them tap out. There would have been great to have some near falls in there, and this is the reason, going back to the WWE Championship match, on why I really enjoyed that, because it gradually built up in suspense. Like I said, you had early on, which you had the part where Daniel out wrestled him, Kofi made the comeback, then you had the near interference, the save, and then it had the big suspense moments, and then it climaxed into that awesome moment of winning. This you didn't get here, so you get to the match, like this match got cut off right before it got going, like when she does the crucifix. Like
this match right here, I feel like it's one of those matches that just didn't get going because these three didn't have chemistry, because the storyline was kind of just thrown together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The storyline was just thrown together.
When it was all clear along where the fans wanted to see this go. But WWE, they did condition the fans for a triple threat match. But hey, I mean, we know where we wanted to go. And at the end, this is my reaction watching the match. Like we were just, all our friends together, we were watching the match and we are looking at it, and it felt like the crowd was at this point tired, exhausted after 8 hours, especially after all the stuff you witnessed. And at the end, she gets the crucifix pin reversal on Ronda. And I'm just looking there like, okay, she's not going to kick out of that because they're going to build to something a lot more dramatic. And it's like 1, 2, 3. And we're like, huh? And then I was like, oh, Becky won. And then we all got out of like, yeah! We went from 0 to 100 quick. And that's what it was. It like that in the audience? It was like the crowd not expecting, like, yeah, okay, she's gonna kick out. What? She won? Oh, she won! Oh, snap! Did it seem like the whole crowd just woke up out of nowhere because they recognized what happened? Like, I was like, that was anticlimactic, and but I was like, yay, Becky got her moment. But I think that's gonna be the legacy of this match, is that's what this match is about. Becky Lynch got her moment, and it's really unfortunate that the ending was botched because Ronda apparently, she had her shoulder up, and apparently she was supposed to keep the shoulder down, and the referee, as you mentioned earlier in this review, it seemed fair to him because he didn't notice it. He ended up counting 3, so and they had it right there on the camera angle. It would have been nice if maybe they had the camera angle from an angle we couldn't have seen, so maybe it would have just been the fans having to point this out. But they've pretty much no-sold it on Raw and SmackDown afterwards. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. This match, like, I can't even say this match was like Raw or SmackDown, maybe. Like, it just never got going to me like it should have, and it seemed like it was rushed. Like maybe they told him just go out there and try to get as much done as you can because this show's gone on too long and everything, and it's like, man, it's an unfortunate situation for the women, but I have the utmost respect for their talent. But this is groundbreaking. I think from a historical standpoint, women have main evented WrestleMania now, and that's what this is about. It shows that now we know women can main event WrestleMania, so that's the important thing. And Becky Lynch at least gets her moment. I just wish the main event would have been better than what it is, especially with all the hype in it. I think maybe if the show was shorter and you could have let these women go out there with more time and everything, it might have been better, and the crowd would have been a lot more atmospheric in there. Because you from your live perspective, did it seem like the crowd was out of it after having been out there for over 8 hours? Because I'm including the time it took to get into the stadium and get seated.
People got seated in the arena rather quickly,
So then what that atmosphere then after you sit through that entire show for 8 hours?
It felt like the energy just kept going throughout the show. And the people did not. It felt like they did not waver, and we were all excited. We were all happy that Becky won. And for her to win out of nowhere, it was a great feeling and a great moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. The moment was great.
And the match suffered from all three of them not being able to gel. And I think best thing to
you think it was more so a performance, just the performance of them not gelling, as opposed to the crowd being tired.
It's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's like this. They haven't been able, it's just like they haven't been able to gel in the ring. The storyline feels thrown together. And, Becky winning, I think, is a great thing. And she will be the face of the WWE going forward for sure. I'm glad she is that. You know what I mean? And I feel like Charlotte was just thrown in there, just to be thrown in there,
Vince basically wanted her to be in the main event. Say she was in the first main event, WrestleMania for women.
Yeah, she was just thrown in there just to be thrown in there just so they could say it. Mm-hmm. And Charlotte is so much better than this. And Charlotte should have definitely bought it. And the thing is, they should have had some. They should have had more double team spots. More double team spots. They should have been treating. You should have treated Ronda Rousey like she was an outsider, interloping in there in professional wrestling. They should have said we need to show her some respect for the business, and they should have taken her out at times, and then brought Ronda in. But that was kind of and that's what they should have done. And and for me personally, I called it because reports were saying Ronda does not want Becky Lynch to pin or submit her at all in the finish. And what happened was she pinned her in the finish of the match. That's kind of funny, but
I heard they were going back on that, and they chose the pinfall finish. Yeah.
I feel like the match was good, but it wasn't great.
Right.
And I think that they definitely should give the. I think they definitely should have given them time to gel, and I think they should have had them. I think they should have given them some time to gel, giving them giving them some promo segments, all three of them in the ring, have them talk, have them build up their chemistry.
Agreed. Instead of what they ended up doing for most of the time.
Having Becky Lynch hobble around for 2.5 fucking months, to see having her trying to market her as Stone Cold Steve Austin 2.0, and trying to have Ronda be Roddy Piper 2.0 and have Charlotte be Ric Flair 2.0. They should just let them go out there and be themselves. They should have let them go out there and
exactly look at the stuff they were writing on Twitter. Like that is what should have been on TV. They could have just censored out all the words you don't want to be heard. That would have been great entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and and also big ups to Joe and Jet and Blackhearts for singing "Bad Reputation."
Definitely.
This is my first time seeing Joe and Jet in person. Seeing Joe and Jet in person, I'm a huge fan of hers. You know what I mean. And seeing her seeing her perform was, it's been one of the things I've always wanted to do. So I got that in. And seeing the opening ceremony with Yolanda Adams was definitely a good thing. She did a good rendition of America the Beautiful. Nice. And her and the choir did a really good job of doing that.
Definitely.
All of the other intricate stuff, we could have done without Shay and Colin being in that match. They should have been on commentary, and they should have put on a commentary type segment as opposed to being in the dang match itself. So
for sure,
yeah. Alexa Bliss was. I think Alexa Bliss was used. I think she was used effectively this night. Alexa Bliss was used effectively that night at WrestleMania. And having Hulk Hogan come out and botch up his promos clearly. It's just like, man, he's been ruining WrestleMania for me since 1990.
Yeah, you said that earlier.
With the exception of that match he had against Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 19, that was a good match. But that's another story for another day.
Right.
And, having Bret Hart at my 20th WrestleMania, it's a huge moment because he was at my first WrestleMania, and now having him here 26 years later, 20 live WrestleManias later for me
it's amazing, and I'm glad he's okay after the whole shebang that happened tonight, a
Before, yeah.
couple, night. It was just like, yeah.
And I'll just make one last quick point about the audience. I know you have the energy to constantly go for 8 hours and everything for these events, and even myself as well, because I don't really go to these events a lot. But I feel like overall, as a whole, the majority of the audience, at least the way it's coming off to me on TV, sounds like when you get to that 8-hour mark, it sounds like the majority of them are tired. But before I go ahead and give this podcast the go-home cue, Stvo, give us your thoughts on the main event.
I love the entrances. It was nice seeing Joe and Jet perform live. Sounded great as always. I think that song really suits Ronda Rousey and it's very catchy. I believe that helicopter scene with Charlotte Flair coming to the ring is a parody. Well, I mean, for starters, you can see that as, oh yeah, Ric Flair came out with Triple H and Batista and Randy Orton back in the day in Evolution. I thought, so there's that. But I think it's also something else from WCW. I can't pinpoint what it was, but I thought that was a cool entrance. She came down and they showed her being filmed in a helicopter. She came down. I don't know if it was on top of the MetLife Stadium or if it was nearby. But solid entrances, Can't complain about that. They gave this match big hype feel. Starting off, I thought the match was pretty fun. Everyone gave some stiff shots. We saw some blood. We saw, people getting hurt. Unfortunately, the match was mostly good, but just the ending, which the dirt sheets are talking all about with the referee being fined, it just came off as a, what? The match is over? Seriously? Seriously, that's it? No disarm her on either Ronda Rousey nor on Charlotte Flair. No final submission. It was just a random pin. I was like, what? This is over? Okay, hey, at least Becky won. Not everyone is a Becky fan. I'd say more people are Becky fans than they are not. I hear all sorts of complaints of Charlotte saying, oh, why was she randomly inserted in this match? Or, oh, Ronda Rousey is just a rookie. She's going to she's going to ruin everything and all that. So, yeah, I think all three women deserve to be in it. I think they all brought their A games and, the promos and everything building towards the match were great. Just unfortunately, I guess the ref made a bad call and it kind of soiled the match quality a bit. So, it was a total shame that we couldn't get the full-on, feel-good moment. But, that doesn't take away from Becky Lynch winning. She's the man, as her nickname says, but no, she brings her A game. She busts her ass off. She was always doing that, even when she was in pre-show card matches. Like, she even said that in a tweet, I believe, just saying, last year I was in the pre-show, now I'm the frickin' main event. So, hats off to her. She deserves it. All the women deserve to be in the match. Going to be interesting to see where Ronda stands from there. I don't believe that Ronda nor Charlotte were on the shows this week, so it'll be interesting to see what transpires with the two, and without getting too much into it until the parts we're allowed to discuss the aftermath. It'll be interesting to see what Becky Lynch's next steps are. My final thoughts on WrestleMania 35. I thought it was fantastic. I might even, some people are saying you're kind of jumping the gun here, Steve, but you're, they say, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10, I do think they really need to work on condensing the show, maybe for review's sake, so, we're not going to spend over an hour or not a super long length reviewing a show that's 8 hours. I mean, that's a lot for anybody. I mean, I think that they should pitch one of the battle royals. In a perfect world, they pitch both, but, you know, they're doing what they can to get everyone their payday, and I understand, and that's very generous of the WWE, but I wish there was some kind of ultimatum where they don't have to have both battle royals, or at the very least say, okay, this year we're going to have the women's battle royal, and the men will have a lumberjack match with two people who are in a big feud, but, you know, the rest of the reign's going to be surrounded by heels and faces from both Raw and SmackDown who don't really get much work to do.
Some very good points made there, Sto. And yeah, I'll just conclude as far as my final thoughts on WrestleMania. I thought this was a really good WrestleMania to close out the 20-teens decades. In fact, I say I probably rank it number 3 among the WrestleManias of this decade. Because I put it right up there with WrestleManias 30 and 31s. And then I say 35 comes in as number 3. Because it sounds like we all are in agreement. The matches were either good to great. And on top of that, when you include the big 3 endings that we got with the 3 baby faces going over that fans wanted, I mean, hey, you gotta rank it up there. I think as definitely an above average WrestleMania for sure. Man Triples are 1. Any final thoughts you have on this WrestleMania overall?
It's a really, 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 really good WrestleMania.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna say it's a great WrestleMania, but it's a really good WrestleMania. For me, I got my predictions correct on this one. You know, as I predicted all 3 of these would go down. You know, I predicted all 3 of these would go down. You know, and they did.
Yes, they did indeed, and pretty much nothing else more left to say. So, wow, we went almost 2 hours and a half here for this podcast. So thank you all so much for listening to this review as you go about your everyday life, because whew, we did our best here to try and condense an 8-hour show. Whew. And I'll just conclude with, as far as the go-home shows for Raw and SmackDown this week after WrestleMania, I kind of really thought they were mostly like just filler shows. It looks like they basically they put all this much time into the new champions and had nowhere else for them to go afterwards. So look like they're going to be holding back basically for this shakeup, and it's going to be very interesting to see with the shakeup is how serious they indeed will be taking SmackDown. If they put a lot of the top dogs on there for SmackDown, then you know they're going to be taking this move to Fox very serious. So we'll see what comes in with WWE in the coming weeks and months. But that being said, I know the Man 0001, you never really have any plugs, but I thank you so much for giving us your live perspective on WrestleMania. And Sto, the floor is now yours for plugs.
Everybody, if you like wrestling cosplay, if you like, you know, funny times, great people, good opportunities to chat, you check out TooSweetCosplay. I try to update on a regular basis as much as I can. My colleagues will post some great stuff there, here and there too. You know, give all our social media a follow: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm pushing the YouTube one especially hard because I would like to reach 100 subscribers before the end of May. That way we can have a more recognized presence on YouTube. That is the goal. I mean, obviously I'd like to get into the 10,000 range, but that will have to wait for another day. But yeah, check out TooSweetCosplay, or you can simply just type www.TooSweetCosplay.com and you'll find the site. And if you find your own photos, you can tag them as well. Feel free to submit us any content you would like to see on the page. Sun Goshoku, thank you for having me on the show. It was a major pleasure. Always try to help out as much as I can. You know, with the YouTube channel, I'm looking to have an exclusive to YouTube show being made. It will be kind of similar to just, you know, talking about the happenings in wrestling, but I like to add a little variety to it. So stay tuned for more information. I'm hoping to launch that show soon enough. But as always, just follow TooSweetCosplay on any social media. It's much appreciated.
Those links will, of course, be in the description below. Stvo, great to have you as always. That said, here are my plugs. So, if you obviously are a fan of WWE or professional wrestling, we'll be doing more audio reviews like this for big events that you can listen to as you go about your everyday life. Also, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, shonen manga, or anime adapted from shonen manga, make sure to check out my upcoming short film, Battle of Deception, as it's based on those types of genres. I currently have lots of videos such as the teaser trailer and the behind-the-scene interview videos right here on my channel, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified as soon as I release more content regarding Battle of Deception, Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, and even WWE. And make sure to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, both at SunGoshoku. All links will be in the description below. Take care!